Welcome to Racing Unleashed.
Red lights are off, away we go!
Da müssen die Positionen hergeben.
¡Wow! ¡Qué adelantamiento!
Spät auf der Bremse.
Here they go, flat out, really good stuff.
Tremenda pelea.
The two cars make contact.
Unglaublich.
¡Wow! ¡Qué pelea!
Was war das für ein Rennen?
Wie schon im letzten Jahr begrüßen wir euch mit deutschem Kommentar auf Twitch Racing Unleashed mit Manuel Wendel und Jan-Luca Fröhlen. And for everybody who wants to listen English commentary, join us on YouTube Racing Unleashed with the legend Dave the Brave, very well known from the DTM, Ferrari, Corse Clienti and much more, Dave Richardson.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Whoa, once again, what a fantastic welcome. Hello, everyone. A very good morning to you. Welcome to Racing Unleashed. We are back bigger and better than ever before as we go beyond the pinnacle. That's a bold claim and a bold statement, Dave. Well, trust me, I can back it up with real foundation because so much is new for 2022. And during the course of the program today, we'll be giving you all the information about exactly what is changing for 2022. To begin with, I suppose I should mention the fact that we now have 3 leagues. We have the Fun League, the Challenger League, which is what we will be focusing on today, and of course the Racer League, which will come your way tomorrow. And where are we racing this weekend? Spielberg, the Red Bull Ring, a really challenging track for all of our drivers. One that escapes the attention sometimes is a little known fact about the Red Bull Ring, and that's the huge elevation change from the straight between the home straight, which is the lowest point of the circuit, and then between turns 3 and 4, which is the highest part of the circuit. And I'll tell you exactly what the elevation change is as we get into our program. So we have a new car, we have a new livery, and we have a new prize fund. Over 200,000 Swiss francs across the Racing Unleashed program this year, across all the leagues. So huge incentive, huge ambition from, of course, all of our drivers. The young talents, old talents are new. They're all joining us in Racing Unleashed. The car is new, the livery is new, and, well, the competition is going to be brand new as well this year. So much to look forward to. So I mentioned the car being brand new. A driver that had something to do with the design of the car is a guy called Andrea Montemini, former Formula One driver and also a hugely successful Ferrari GT driver. He's had his hand in the new Challenger car for this year. Nico Rindlesbacker, a little bit later on, will be telling us all about the livery for the car this year. So we continue to evolve, we continue to improve, and Racing Unleashed becomes absolutely compelling for not only the drivers but of course for us race fans as well, as we go to some fantastic circuits during the course of the season. And it's a big season as well. There's 12 in total, 2 of which are non-championship events. The first one of those we held a while ago, just a couple of weeks ago actually, and that was our Prologue event. And right at the end of the season we'll be running an event called Race for Glory. So we're coming to you live from our lounge here in Kemptal. This is where our studio setup has all been built for us, and I have to say they make us feel very welcome and very comfortable as well. But of course we bring all our lounges together, whether it's here in Kemptal, or of course we also go to Zurich and to Madrid, to Calm and to Munich also. We have competitors at every single one of our Racing Unleashed lounges, once again as we go beyond the pinnacle for 2022. Now, we've given some different names to the features of our program as well. So, for example, our free practice session becomes Gear Up. That's going to be good. 10-minute fight during the free practice session, which is now called Gear Up. We then have our 30-minute quali session. Now, this is going to be called Knockout because it's all the clue really is in the name, because what will happen is the two drivers in every round of our knockout will be knocked out. So basically they will go out of the equation. So the fight for pole position is going to be really theatrical, and will be something like a drive to survive for the fittest and the fastest drivers across that knockout section. Another feature that I should mention is the fit and fast, which we'll be finding out about a little bit more later on in our program. So there's a heck of a lot to come from Racing Unleashed. Let's find out now what's new for 2022.
Yes, indeed. We have a new name, which is called Beyond the Pinnacle. And what we do is we create a new kind of motorsport, a motorsport 4.0, by bringing the analog world together with the virtual world. So this goes for us into the future and beyond the pinnacle. We now have 3 phases. We start with the gear up, which is approximately 15 minutes. After that, it directly goes into the knockout phase, and that's a very interesting phase because we know that in the analog sport a lot has been spoken about knockout races, reverse races, and we've now put those elements in here. So what happens is that the drivers then start behind the safety car, and they have to actually, in the lap that follows, so this first lap, get into the reverse order of their standing in the championship. So in one lap, they get into that order, and once the safety car then leaves the track and you cross the start-finish line, you're then already in a race. And the moment each lap is completed, the last 2 of that lap are eliminated. So like this, you bring in a lot of excitement, particularly at the back end. We this year have added a new league to our existing Racer League and Challenger League, and we call it the Fun League. And this is really a league, the name says it, people should come have fun. They are competitive, so I think that's going to be very similar what people want to achieve. But it's nothing at such a regular basis, it is not centralized. So each lounge, may it be ours or of our franchisees, can actually determine how they want to have this fun challenge looking like and cater to their people.
I mean, it starts in the back. You have a new rear wing, you have the winglets in general, they changed, the front wing changed. You now have coverage of the wheels, which leads the air more. The floor on the bottom is quite different, and the car is also heavier. So there are a lot of changes. I mean, obviously the weight, it's not an optic difference, but you feel it when you drive the car. And yeah, the rest is really designed to have better aerodynamics, so you feel that, but at the same point you don't reach as high speed as before. So at first it's different, but as soon as you get used to it, it's really fun. And I think if you compete on the track against others, it will be even more fun because it feels like more pure racing. It's a whole different experience, and it will be quite fun.
It's much more dynamic, and compared to last year's car, it looks fresh, it looks a bit more aggressive, it looks so that you can really see a difference, because it's also like in real motorsport, when you do your car livery day, your car reveal day, it's also in the virtual world, it's also the same for us, that it's a big day. And for this year, we did something completely new. We have asked one of the famous designers in the UK, his name is Mark Antar, to come up with 2 or 3 proposals, how the car could look like. And then we didn't decide it, we put it in, we let our community decide. And the majority was pretty clear, and the car looks great. It looks different, it looks aggressive, it looks sportive, and it reflects also the values of Racing Unleashed.
Thank you to everyone for explaining everything about Racing Unleashed for 2022. Then as we go beyond the pinnacle, I feel like Racing Unleashed royalty. Here I am in my throne. I have Racing Unleashed water available to me. And do you know what? These lovely people have even given me a cup of tea. Ah, come on. Doesn't get better than this, does it? And, of course, what we're interested in is finding out all about Racing Unleashed for 2022, which we have done. And now we're excited about going into our first gear-up session of 2022, when all the drivers will be taking to the Red Bull Ring circuit and using that FP session, if you like, free practice session, to try and get their eye in and get everything in and get everything sorted for this car and this competition today. I remind you, it's the Challenger League today. So what can I tell you about the Red Bull Ring? 4.3 kilometers. Now, in my introduction to the program, I was talking about the elevation change between the start-finish straight and then the straight between turns 3 and 4. I don't know whether you can believe this, 63.5 meters, the difference between the bottom and the top, if you will. There are 10 turns, 3 of them are left-handers, 7 of them are right-handers, and of course the number 1 turn pays homage to the Austrian legend, Niki Lauda. So it's a challenging circuit. It's a real point-and-squirt circuit where you have to work really, really hard. There's hardly a moment. It's such a roller coaster that you're always on it all the time, and it's a really rewarding circuit, I am told, when you get the best out of it, but it can bite you on the bottom if you don't. And we'll find out who does what during the course of our racing today. Of course, we have gear up first of all, and then we the session. And as you can see, we're already underway. Welcome to the Red Bull Ring, and welcome to Racing Unleashed, our championship race 1. So, good-looking cars, as Christine was explaining to us, the whole livery setup for this year, and the car, everything looks brilliant. Thank you to Nico Rindlesbacker as well for giving us all the details about the car, which, as he mentioned, is heavier and is therefore harder to get the very, very best out of. So we have 7.5 minutes remaining in this FP session, and there you can see, just trying to make the most of the tarmac here, and the Red Bull Ring has been the scene of some phenomenal races during the course of the years. Of course, once the A1 ring, once the Österreich ring, now very much the Red Bull Ring. As I said, something of a roller coaster track. And here you can see, just to the white line there, that delineates the entry to the pit lane. And this, one of the hardest turns to get right, which is the final turn, turn number 10. The car elevates you to the outside of the circuit, but if you go beyond the white lines, of course, that becomes a track limits problem. And we don't want any of those because you could be penalized. From my position here in the studio, I can actually see race control. And I can see our race director keeping an eye on absolutely every car go through the turn number 3 at the moment. And there, that's the run from turn 3 down to turn 4, where you have a slight right-hander, then a left-hander, then the big left-hander, and you're continuing to run downhill here, which really pulls on the car. And that lovely shot. You can see the rearview mirror right at the top of your screen. Now, critical here, keep 2 wheels within the white lines. You can run 2 over, but the moment you go more than 2, you're in trouble, you're in strife, and you will incur the wrath of the race director. This is the turn where it's so critical to get it right. Really, really hard in, and then just get a perfect exit and trajectory out, which gives you a good run up to the Niki Lauda turn, which is turn number 1. And from here, you run up towards what is now called turn number 2. In my early days of the Red Bull Ring, this wasn't considered a turn where we are now, turn number 2, but it is now, and then the turn number 3, which you continue to climb uphill once you've turned the right-hander, and it is really, really tricky to get right, but it's a good overtaking opportunity. Let's go on board with Simone Demivast then. To the right-hand side, you can see him working hard in the Munich lounge inside his simulator, and this the car then. Oh, what a brilliant shot this is, and you really feel like you're on board. You can see the graphics there, 200 kilometers an hour, 230, 6 gear, absolutely full chat flat. Now, can we reach 300 kilometers per hour before we have to brake? No, not quite. So handling this absolutely beautifully through the final turn. Now you dip here right on the start-finish line, then you begin to climb uphill again and again, very nearly 300 kilometers per hour before turning that right-hander. On the left-hand side, you can see the graphics then of who is doing what and where. Demurba then with a 109.027. Zambra then chasing 5/10 behind. Then it's Herzog. Then Oberhurl now has gone third fastest. Bear in mind, this is free practice only. This is gear up, enabling our drivers to gear up for the race and for the queue to come as well. We stay with Simone Demivast then. And here's Alejandro Jose Lendorf. This an outlap. Angie Jose Lendorf. Not sure what the NG means, and apologies, Angie, if I've mispronounced your name. I'm sure you'll thrash me in due course, thankfully, in Madrid. Can't reach me. So Demurba then is P1, Zambra is P2, Ferrati now is P3. See how close it is. Look, across the top three, there is just 8/10 between them. So Angier then with his outlap. We have Demurba with a 108.831, which thus far has not been challenged during this gear-up session. We have 3 minutes remaining, and we go on board with Nico Farland then. He's in our lounge in Munich. Welcome, Nico, down to second gear to take that to turn 3, and then back on the gas again, heading towards turn number 4. So Nico then in Munich, down from 6th gear down to 2nd gear to take that to turn number 4. And then this is where the roller coaster really comes here at the Red Bull Ring. You can see just how you're running downhill. Taking as much of the curb as you dare, and Nico Farland at the moment this time is not going to trouble Demurba's current P1 time of 108.831. So just a little wobble from the back end then. This is critical. Final turn, getting it absolutely right, getting the exit perfect, and crossing the timing line now with a 109.233. 109.233. Getting a little bit closer to Demurba then with a 108.831. Is this lap from Nico Farland going to be the lap? Here is Jason Ferrati then, here in Kemptal. And whilst I didn't speak to Jason yesterday, I did speak to him this morning. Very likeable young man, I have to say. Whoa, as one car has gone off, and Jason, in reaction to that, also had to go off. So that has completely ruined that lap for him. So well done. Good avoidance by Jason, though he would have probably preferred to have kept it out of the barriers. So Demurba, Farland, Ferrati, Zambra, Herzog, Bleissig, Kiefer, then it's Oberhall, Meyer, Overkirk, and here is Thomas Herzog, also here in Kemptal. As you can see, he's done his hair, especially for this occasion. A bit like me, really. Sorry, Thomas. And he is part of the Fit and Fast program, who I had the pleasure of speaking to Thomas at our Prologue event about that Fit and Fast. And boy, he is fit. And as you can see now, as we're with him on board, he's certainly fast here at the Red Bull Ring. 292 kilometers per hour up to that turn. And final turn. And now let's see if Thomas Herzog, as he crosses the timing line, what he can do. Can he reach 300 kilometers per hour? Not quite. Or really through that car, through the Niki Lauda turn. Thomas Herzog very, very in control. He's currently P6 with a it's a 108.642 is the time that we're aiming for, and Thomas Herzog is a 2nd and a 10th down on that at the moment. This is David Seed then, the all-yellow peril from Racing Unleashed. And my goodness, where's the time gone? We've only got 10 seconds or thereabouts of this gear-up session remaining. The time just goes. So Seed then with a 108.642 means Demurba is P2, Farland is P3, and Jason Ferrati, who we saw just a few moments ago, is P4. So the checkered flag is out now. And this gear-up session will be over. And the fastest during the gear up session. David Seed, of course, anyone that is on a lap, but looking at my screen, I can't see anyone that is likely to improve that time. Now, did David Seed just cross the timing line before the checkered flag came out, in which case he can go again and potentially be even faster once again? We will see. But at the moment, David Seed is fastest in the free practice session. I need to get my glasses on here to go through all the data here, which is what race control is going through. I'm peering over my shoulder and I can see the race director looking very carefully. I don't think anyone got anything wrong or did anything bad in that particular gear up session. So basically what we have is the FP session done and dusted, and we're going to be back out onto the track in around about 5-10 minutes time with the knockout session. That's going to be very, very interesting because, of course, that is critical. Every particular 10th and 100th will count. And, of course, the theatrical drama of the new knockout, our qualifying session, where we lose 2 drivers on every lap, becomes very, very critical. There you can see our race control team looking at all the data. And well done to our camera team here, being able to zoom in, and we can see that everything is looked at in minute detail, and everything is controlled perfectly by our race control team. Firm but fair. And they do rule it with a rod of iron. Exactly as we would expect, really. So the new cars then in anger for the first time around this Red Bull Ring circuit in that gear-up session, giving all our drivers, whether they are in Munich or Kemptal or Madrid or Zurich, the opportunity just to really get their eye into this track. Calm, of course, being the other lounge. Racing Unleashed then. Remind you the website racing-unleashed.com, where you can find out everything about this fantastic series Beyond the Pinnacle in 2022. Now the gear up session is 10 minutes, 10-minute session, and Q becomes a knockout. Now that's a 30-minute session. Of course the race is approximately 30 minutes as well. So we are at the Red Bull Ring, 4.318 kilometers. Who can tell us the best about how to get the best out of the Red Bull Ring? Well, there's no one better than Karl Wendlinger.
Oh, Red Bull Ring. Start finish straight, hard braking for the first turn, turning in and early on throttle because afterwards a long straight. Up to second corner, up the hill. Second corner, hard braking, tight right-hand corner, cut the curb a bit, and back on throttle. On the long straight, braking into turn 3, a bit uphill, turn in and back on throttle. Towards the first left-hander, quite difficult corner because a bit off camber, turning in, back on throttle. Second left-hander and early acceleration. Up the hill again. Braking at the downhill and back on throttle. And back to start finish.
Thank you, Karl Wendlinger. Then Red Bull Ring, and he given us a perfect lap around the Red Bull Ring. Only bettered by me and my rental car once. I'm joking. Absolutely hopeless. None of our drivers, of course, are hopeless. We will see them when it comes to our knockout session. So after each full lap, the last 2 are going to be eliminated until just 2 are left who will compete for a pole position during our knockout session. It's like a super pole competition, and there it is in graphics explained to you. So at the end of each lap, we lose 2 drivers. And of course what that means is that those that end up going for the pole position get the most track time as well. So love the theatre of this. And there you can see the safety car is there as well. And I should explain, if you're following the reason that you see the safety car as an entry is because, of course, the safety car is involved as well. So here we go then. We are going to get our knockout session underway. Frank Steifart then, who has clear track ahead. And this becomes a very, very busy track indeed in the first part of our knockout session. NG then from Madrid, P8 to start this Q session. And Seed look all the way down at the bottom now. Please bear in mind that when it comes to actually getting underway and when the safety car is peeled off, that those drivers that are right at the back of the pack, of course, have got all that traffic ahead of them as well. So it's really difficult to make good headway. But the way it's designed is to elevate still further the drama, as in every respect of Racing Unleashed, we try and go beyond the Pinnacle in 2022. As I mentioned in my introduction, we're back, we're bigger and better than ever before. So we have 30 minutes in this quali session, and this of course will form the grid for the Challenger League race to come a little bit later today. We focus on our Challenger League today. Tomorrow it will be our Racer League, and safety car is peeled off into the pit lane then, and we can get our Q session underway. Already you can see drivers jostling to try and find some space on the tarmac. Seifert then, who has got the best possible position because he's got a clear track ahead of him. Number of cars running wide through turn number 1. And David Seed then, as you can see, is balked, and we've got strife and problems at the start of this quali session. Jason Ferrati, who's here in Kemptown, he has navigated his way through that very, very well indeed. And Jason Ferrati then finds himself with a good, clear track ahead of him. So, of course, whilst all that was going on, Seifert had no problems at all because he had nothing but clear tarmac ahead of him. And there you can see those drivers that are moving up the order, and still we're seeing some drivers go round. David Seed then, who has improved, as you can see from the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen. He is up now. Oberholzer, Martin Oberholzer, who is running in P2 at the moment. And we're following Jason Ferrati then. As I said, was having a conversation with him just before we got everything underway earlier on today. And so cool, calm and collected. Nico Farland sets the fastest lap with a 1:11.852. So Nico Farland with a 1:11.852. Here comes Jason Ferrati then. Through the outer turn, turn number 1, heading up towards that really challenging kink, which is turn 2, which is taken full chat flat because you're still running up. Oh, and my goodness, Josh Hader, the car was on its side. So Joshua Hader then in strife as well, and as well as a number of other drivers as they make their way through turn number 3. So Farland fastest. Then it's Martin P2, Seifert now relegated to P3. Zambra has moved up the order, so too has Overkirk, Demirba and Kaifa Antonio. So we have already lost our first 2 drivers that have been knocked out of our quali session. Of course, the drive is towards that pole position where we end up with just 2 cars on the track fighting for that pole position. It's like a super pole shootout, and we love it. So let's go on board with Astrid Vollenweider in Zurich. So the bespectacled Astrid then doing a very good job. And there, across the timing line goes Astrid. Heading up towards the turn number 1 now, down into 3rd gear. Now some drivers use 3rd, some use 2nd to go through turn 1. Teo Vida who we follow now. I've got to try to get past that car ahead and doing a good job or not. Yes, I don't think there was contact between Teo and the car ahead. The car might have been Jason Ferrati, to be honest with you. But anyway, Teo Vida does manage to go through on the inside at the turn number 3. So Teo Vida then, we continue to watch. Nico Farland still the fastest driver during this quali session. And who do we have? Farland, who at the moment is out on his own. Ondrin Kiefer then, who is trying to make headway as well and is in the drop zone. Nico Farland puts in another fastest lap with a 1:09.467. Now Nico Farland has got the ability with absolutely no traffic ahead of him. Ondrin Kiefer then navigating his way through those cars in front. Did he do enough? So Ondrin Kiefer was in the drop zone, and I think he has. He has done enough to stay out. So P16 at the moment for Ondrin Kiefer, who we go on board with now. The green livery. You can see Ondrin to the right-hand side of your screen. Bear in mind for our German viewers, you can catch all of Racing Unleashed on Twitch. And we are live with English language here. I'm really enjoying it as Nico Farland continues to be numero uno at the moment in our knockout qualifying. So Teo Vida is at P15. We have 16 cars out there then competing in this qualifying session, which Nico Farland is leading. And I have to say, when you see a difference between the drivers and the times, now bear in mind that relatively, because the drivers are out of place because of where they started in this knockout session. Now this says Mikael Rolin. Mikael then avoiding the spinning cars ahead of him. Good spatial awareness of everything that's going on around him. And Mikael Rolin then with a 1:24.298. Teo Vida with a 1:19.172. No one yet troubling Nico Farland. Who's getting closest? Well, Caponio is within 0.2 of Nico Farland's time, but is currently down there P7 in terms of actual position on track. You can see Mikael just losing the back end of the car a little through turn number 1, but gathering it all up nicely and continuing in his quest. Let's go on board then with Nico Farland. Look at the advantage he's got. P1 out of 21, which means completely clear track. But it's not going to be many moments before he's up against some back-marking traffic that have been spun around. Of course, we do lose 2 of them on every lap, so it might be that Nico Farland gets away with this. 1:09.386, the fastest lap. Now, Zambra has just posted a good lap as well. This is Mikael Rolin then. He's in the drop zone. He's currently P14. He's some 4.2 tenths down. This is going to be it for Rolin and also for Andy, I believe, as we will lose them from our quali knockout session. Fabian Meyer then, currently P12. He's got Jason Ferrati ahead of him. So here is Fabian Meyer, loving the orange livery on his car. He's based in our lounge in Munich. You can see his supporters club behind him there, patiently watching everything that Fabian is doing. And Fabian has got Jason Ferrati then ahead of him. And Fabian is just 4 tenths down on a P1 time. But of course, he's got 11 cars ahead of him. So Nico Farland then continuing to evolve with a 1:09.338. And then a 1:10.223 is the time from Oberhol. Then is David Seed now, who sets a fastest lap. So David Seed then elevating himself further up the order. So Jason Ferrati, who has Fry and Meyer and Schmidt and Bleissig and Caponio ahead. And we're down to the final 10 cars in this qualifying session. Our knockout then. It's our first race in our championship for 2022. We're coming to you from the Red Bull Ring. as we bring all our lounges together in competition. Kemptal, Madrid, Zurich, Calm, and Munich. Yannick Schmidt, I have to say, and I know I'm biased, but the liveries on these cars this year, simply stunning, simply stunning. Well done to the Racing Unleashed team and our livery designers for coming up with such a beautiful racing car. P.S. Meyer rounds the roller coaster of this Red Bull Ring circuit. And it is the knockout session, which Farland is leading. Michael Frey, he's in the drop zone along with Meyer now. So running P9 and P10 in its knockout session. So there is Michael Frey, Meyer then. And Michael Frey, as I said, in the drop zone. Now, on the left-hand side of your screen, you can also see, and Michael Frey is disappointed. He'd hoped for more. Yannick Schmidt, right at the bottom of the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see S car. That's not a driver, that is our safety car, which, of course, for the parameters of how we work in this fantastic series, remains on graphics, and it's always part of the proceedings. Yannick Schmidt, we're on board with now in Munich, heading down towards the second last turn. That's pit in, and Yannick Schmidt, unfortunately, is going to have to use pit in on account of the fact he's in the drop zone. P8 for Yannick Schmidt, and Bleissig also going to lose out as well. Tiziano Caponio, P5 at the moment. Nico Farland still the quickest. So Tiziano Caponio. Is it going to be Farland or is it going to be Zambra that's pole position in that Super Pole shootout then with just two cars left on the track? Well, Tiziano Caponio then and Thomas Herzog, part of the Fit and Fast program, who are P4 and P5 respectively at the moment. So this qualifying session, this knockout session then, delivering the drama that we expected it to. And this will be the feature of every one of our races during the championship season this year. So it's short, sharp lap here, as we found out from Carl Wendling earlier on. You really don't get much time at all. So Uberholzer then is P3. And Thomas Herzog then here in Kemptal. It is best shot. And actually it's going to be one of the front rows. As Martin Uberholzer then also mentioned. So it's going to be down to Nico Farland and Zambra, who will be running in effectively our Super Pole. Ciro Zambra, who, like Thomas Schmidt, is also part of the Fit and Fast program. And here is Ciro Zambra. Across the timing line then. And one of the fastest going into turn number 1. But Nico Farland, with the benefit of track space and the clear track he has had ahead of him for most of this knockout, the total prize fund is just in excess of 200,000 Swiss francs. It's enormous, absolutely enormous. Everything to go for. And this new knockout qualifying, I simply love. Not sure the drivers would agree with me, although Nico Farland certainly did. He did very well in that today, and I can't imagine that Nico will be under any investigation whatsoever. So lots and lots of good stuff to come during Racing Unleashed in our season. Now, I mentioned earlier on that we did our prologue here, and that was a couple of weeks ago. Feels like longer than that, but it wasn't. And then now we are into our season proper, if you like, running now for these fantastic events as we go beyond the Pinnacle for 2022. Our Prologue event, incidentally, was at the Zurich Airport circuit, which you may recall made its debut in Racing Unleashed during 2021. We went back there to for the Prologue event in 2022. Just some of the tracks that we'll be visiting during the course of the season will include brilliant circuits like the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, Silverstone, of course, in the UK, but not only Silverstone in the UK. I have heard a rumour that we're going to Brands Hatch as well, which we'll be going to during the course of the season for our championship for 2022. And, of course, that huge prize fund of 200,000, in excess of 200,000 Swiss francs, that will be up for grabs. So we have talked to our pole sitter, Nico Farland, and just to let you know that as I'm looking over my shoulder, I can see that yet more people have got involved in race control now, so really are looking at that very, very carefully. So the results that we saw from our knockout qualifying, provisional only, and could be subject to some changes before we actually get to the grid. There you can see, there's Jason to the back of him there. You can see talking to one of our team here at the lounge in Kemptal. Now, if memory serves me, I think it was P11 for Jason. Whether he's under investigation or not, I don't think Jason necessarily did anything wrong, but that's only anecdotal from what I saw. And there we can zoom in. You can see our team there in Munich as well, our presentation team. So, of course, Race Control have access to so much data available to them, and they can look at everything. So our Racer League then, qualification through performance, and the race calendar at several locations as we go beyond the Pinnacle for 2022. These are our three leagues I mentioned right at the start of the program. Then the Fun League is very much that. It's possible at any time, regardless of the race calendar, and open to all. Hosted by each of our individual lounges. It's your first step, if you like, into Racing Unleashed. Then it's the Challenger League, which is what we're focusing on today. And a number of drivers from the Challenger League elevated into the Racer League, which is what we will be with tomorrow. Same circuit tomorrow, Red Bull Ring. And here then is how the huge prize fund of 200,000 Swiss francs is being distributed during the course of the season. So as you can see, in the Challenger League, it's 500 for the win, which, across the season is worth some 2,500. So big money, big bucks up for grabs. And as I say, the total prize fund is some 200,000 Swiss francs. So the Racing Unleashed, the bold claim that I made right at the beginning of the program about it's bigger and better than ever before is absolutely true. And that applies also to the prize fund. And that is how you can see it's distributed. Brilliant. Camera comes back to me just as I was going to take a swig of water. That's fair, isn't it? Yes, I get away with nothing. Thank you. Now, Battle for Glory, which is on the 11th of December 2022. It's not a championship event. It is a one-off Battle for Glory. I'm not going to tell you where that's going to be held on account of the fact I don't know. But there you can see P1 in the Battle for Glory. It's 500 Swiss francs up for grabs for P1. If you're a Challenger driver, if you're a Racer driver, 7 grand in your hand. So, big bucks then in the Battle for Glory. And that's going to be on the 11th of December. So, a very big, a very busy season that we've got in Racing Unleashed. I'm thrilled to be a part of it, I have to say. Here is our calendar then. We're here at the Red Bull Ring for our race 1. Then we head off to Germany, within sight of the Nürburg Castle at the Nürburgring. The Temple of Speed at the end of April, then the Autodromo de Monza. Then into Tuscany and the Circuito di Mugello. Then welcome to Britain. Brands Hatch, I say. We'll be there at the beginning of June. Then at the end of July, we stay in the UK because we go to Silverstone, host, of course, of the British Grand Prix. Then it's off to Belgium and Spa-Francorchamps before the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, 24th to the 25th of September. And then we go back to this brilliant circuit that Racing Unleashed uses at Zurich Airport. And that was the host of where we were in our Prologue event. And then we round out the race calendar for 2022, mid-November at Imola. So there we are, those 10 races that form the race calendar for 2022. And bear in mind that even when we've done Imola and we've crowned our champions for 2022 at the end of November, at the beginning of November, I'll get it right, at the middle of November, we will still have one event to do, a non-championship event, which will be our Battle for Glory, which comes up in December. It is a really, really good calendar, extremely well designed, and great mix of fantastic circuits that we'll be going to with Racing Unleashed. Another factor that we bring into our bigger and better Beyond the Pinnacle Racing Unleashed during 2022, as well as the introduction of a new league and changes to the free practice and qualifying sessions, is the opportunity that I get to talk to some of the movers and shakers during the Racing Unleashed program. That's a little segment that, if you will, we're calling Talking Unleashed. So, this is the situation with regards to what race control is looking at. I can see from the left-hand side of my screen, you can see here that obviously it's a very, very busy pack. There you can see whether contact was made and whether any driver has been disadvantaged as a result of another driver going off the track. And again, that was a really bold move, diving up the inside of turn number 3. So that advantaged a number of other drivers, and then 3 into 1 almost does not go as they head down towards turn number 4. So our race control team working really, really hard at the moment to look at absolutely every single incident. As I said right at the start of the program, they are firm but fair, and they want to make sure that every incident is looked at and that no one is disadvantaged. Ooh, that was a move that had consequences, wasn't it? You know, just one innocuous touch and you end up with 3 or 4 drivers being involved in that. So, yeah, race control very, very busy. It's no wonder that our race director is like me and is of little hair, because he has got an awful lot going on at the moment. And I can see that they're looking at every single incident in super slow-mo as well, driving it down to frame by frame almost. And there you can see it. They really, really bring the speed down. There you can see every driver that was involved in that and who got disadvantaged. And you know, fair play to everyone here at Racing Unleashed. They look at everything very, very carefully indeed, and to make sure that everyone is dealt with appropriately and that no one is disadvantaged. So, we're getting underway then with the first of our new format for 2022 with the 10-minute Gear Up FP session. Done. We can tick that box. The first of the knockout sessions, we can tick that box, although it's not absolutely concluded yet because we are still awaiting any notification from race control as to any penalties that will be awarded following that quali session. And of course we will go to our race Beyond the Pinnacle, a full 30-minute race at the Red Bull Ring, and that comes a little bit later on. We will also been mentioning about the Zurich Airport circuit and the fact that we raced there in our Prologue event. A little bit later on in our program today, we'll be going back to that Prologue event. If you happen to miss it live, we've got a little highlights package of that Prologue event that you can see. So Red Bull Ring is where we are today, 4.318 kilometers, 63 meters of elevation change from start-finish straight to the top straight, which is between turns 3 and 4. There are 10 turns in total, 3 of them left, and 7 of them are right-handers. Of course, it was once the A1 ring, then the Österreich ring, or the other way around, I can't quite remember. Now very much the Red Bull Ring. There has been talk, of course, that Red Bull Ring may still be elongated and changed, and think there's anything been talked about that for a little while yet, but there has been a constant talk, and I have to say, having been there on a number of occasions, they have done a brilliant job in that circuit. It's a real challenge for the drivers, forgive the pun, and it's really good for the drivers. So, I mentioned earlier on, a new feature in our program every weekend will be a little talk show, which we're calling Talking Unleashed, where we're able to talk to the movers and the shakers within Racing Unleashed. And today we're going to be finding out all about Knockout and the pinnacle of motorsport, the outlook for 2022. We'll be talking to Monisha Kaltenborn. We'll be talking to Nico Rindlesbacker about the new car for Racing Unleashed for 2022. Also, of course, that huge new prize fund. And, of course, we'll also be talking, you've heard me mention it during that knockout session and also during our Gear Up session as well, about this Fit and Fast program with Ralf Müller. We'll be finding out more about that as well, and the little challenge that Ralf Müller has taken on board that is going to help with my cardiovascular fitness as well. He doesn't know much about that at the moment, but that's very much one of my plans. So let's go and introduce you now to this new feature called Talking Unleashed. I love the title of this, Talking Unleashed. It's fantastic. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Monisha Kaltenborn, thank you so much for joining us, is it was my first year involvement with Racing Unleashed last year. Hugely privileged to be a part of it, and I thought it was very compelling. It cannot get any better. Well, clearly I'm wrong, because you go away over the close season, you and your fantastic team, and you do yet more things and make it even more interesting. Is the desire always to be evolving?
Absolutely. I think anyone as who is in motorsport always knows you can always do a bit better. It's always about performance, not just lap time. It's on the technical side, what more can you do? And in our world, what we want to achieve is to be as immersive as you can be. So, we always find a little bit more, and the next thing to do, a new feature coming up. So it's a very exciting world, and we actually learn every day.
And I've had the opportunity to speak to some of the drivers who really embrace this and really want to be a part of it. And of course, when you're creating a product that is desirable for young talents, and I know you and I had a discussion off the air about how motorsport is very, very difficult for so many talented people. You are producing a real avenue for talents to be recognized and to come out and perform.
Absolutely. For us, it's very important as part of our vision that we really want to scout talents on a global basis. And we all know from the analog world of motorsport that it is so expensive already right from the beginning. I mean, even a Formula 4 season costs you a 6-digit number. And how many people can afford that? And how many people make it from there if you look at how many Formula 1 drivers you have at the end of the day? So this is a way where, you can have access to so many more young people out there. You start maybe really online with certain activities, you then get them over into our simulators, which is a very important training tool, because this is where these young people learn how to feel a little bit how it is in a Formula car. That we can simulate certain G-forces. Of course, it's a kind of reverse engineering, but they get a bit the feel for it. They learn the tracks, which is extremely important at that stage. They even learn communication with the engineering team behind them. And I can tell you from my experience in Formula 1 that when the step used to be taken from drivers coming from junior series to Formula 1, this was one of our biggest challenges, to tell them how you communicate quickly, efficiently, and give the right feedback. So all this you can already start training here at a fraction of the cost. So you have so many more people who you really can see what they can do. We have telemetry tools as well. So you can already start spotting, where are the drivers who have the talent, who have the right way of driving. All these are indicators at the end of the day. So I think if we continue with the way we are, it's just a matter of time that we actually, and together with other AI tools we will be using, to really have a fantastic talent base.
It's extraordinary listening to what you're saying there, because when you explain it so well, it's absolutely obvious, actually, that this is the way forward, isn't it? Because what you're doing is you're opening up that opportunity for talents to be recognised. Therefore, Monisha, can I ask, do you think that it's only a question of time before we find a top-level racing driver that will have come through this route rather than the hugely expensive route of karting and single-seaters, etc., in the analogue world, as you describe it?
Absolutely, because even in the analog world, virtual racing, sim racing, simulation is becoming so much more important. There were test restrictions in place for so many years. There are restrictions on development activities, so track racing as such is restricted in many ways. So you have to go into that world. Simulators, driver in the loop simulators, of course, are very important for a top team, a Formula One team. So this is the way the world is going. We're already tapping onto this at a much earlier stage, and we see how young drivers who are today at the top actually can handle sim racing much better than the older generation. So it's just a matter of time till we merge them more and more. And actually we are already doing a project like this in England, where it'll be about Formula 4, where talents are being searched online. They'll then come into our simulators where they have a competition, and the best two get a seat with the Formula 4 team. So that's exactly what you're saying. We're just going to wait now a few months to have the first time talents come up like this.
In assembling what you have achieved with Racing Unleashed thus far, presumably you had the aspiration in terms of how you wanted it to work. And what I find particularly appealing is that, and this sounds like I'm being patronising, I'm really not. You and the team are not resting on your own laurels. You're continually evolving and changing things, and actually it's that quest to give the very, very best opportunity, isn't it? I think
it is, and the beauty of it is, you have this ambition already in motorsport.
Yes,
you want to provide the best. And in our world here, we are not subject to any restrictions except for the technological ones, are mainly the internet or mainly restrictions on the game. So we can really see and decide, how do we want to sculpture our championship? How do we want to proceed? We know, a lot of us who are in the team from the analog world, where the downfalls are, where the risks are, and how do you overcome that? And one of the biggest things is the financial aspect. Because so many talents simply not found or cannot continue because they can't afford it. Here it's different. And if you look at the whole system, if you evolve it further, the way esports, the way e-racing is growing, it's just again a matter of time till you achieve those dimensions, for sponsors, for partners, for viewers, for fans. So that is why we started with this now. We know it'll take a while to grow, but it is the right way. And in doing this way, you have to, from day one, strive to offer the best.
And I think you're doing that. A searching question, if I may. Obviously, you have a nice geographic spread of racing lounges currently. Is the plan to build on that and to offer many more lounges in perhaps countries that are not represented at the moment?
Absolutely, and we want to be a global sport. To be a global sport, we want to have lounges all over the world. Now, of course, given the restrictions we had the last year on traveling, you couldn't really go out and market your product. But we're doing that now again, so I do expect some more lounges, hopefully also outside Europe, coming up this year.
Because there are opportunities, aren't there, that it's not just restricted to Europe. I mean, you and I have only got to talk about Brazil and some of the wonderful talents that have come out of Brazil. So, and I wondered if that was very much part of your plan, was to expand the whole Racing Lounge brand across many more countries. But of course, softly, plus, there will be people that look at this as an experience, because there is another side of the business. I was amazed that, actually you can come here as a customer, and even someone of my less than svelte size could be machined into one of your simulators and have a very enjoyable 20-minute session or something. Not that I would be very good, Monisha.
Well, it's about democratizing motorsport, and everybody needs to get that chance. So, like you mentioned before, our growing is going to be step by step. And it's always a question of what you do, you have to do the best, and it has to work the best way. So that's why we take, like circles. You have sharks which go the other way around, where it's get tighter and tighter, and we are going the other way. So we're actually getting bigger and bigger. So definitely on our agenda is Asia, where esports as such comes from. It's America, because again, we are so open with many things, so we can even adapt in certain ways to a very different market. The American market in racing is so different to the Asian market, to the European market. So we can get in elements from everywhere. Latin America is equally important. Central America, for that matter, with Mexico coming up with such drivers. So the whole world is open to us, and we just take it with our circles getting bigger.
My final question to you, and I'm so grateful that you've taken time to be with us this evening. I know you're very busy, and this is a Prologue event where all of us are testing everything that we can do. I was absolutely amazed when I looked at the prize fund for this year for our competitors. Was that always a plan to increase that still further, to really offer some huge fiscal advantage to those that are the best?
Yes, it's absolutely part of our strategy as well, and where we are today is just a start with the 200,000 Swiss francs. We want to increase this much more, and we know from the analog world that if your ecosystem works really well, you can reach tremendous dimensions. Look at other esports where you are, and we're exactly hopefully going to go the same way. And it's an important incentive, because what we are about at the end of the day is a pure competition, very transparent, and about the heroes who are in there. And if the heroes deliver the way they are, you need to give them an award. So that just explains our whole system. It's not about, as yet, teams. It's not about who practices more from a team, who can afford more. It's about the person. And the best reward you can give that person is starting from the financial aspect, and then, of course, giving him, in his pride, showing that to the world and making him a hero.
And that's what we love, of course, about the whole industry, isn't it? It's that hero situation. Monisha Kaltenborn, continue doing what you're doing, because you're doing a brilliant job, and we really are. I was going to let you go, but I'm not going to, because I think it's only fair for us to summarize everything that has changed, if you like, from 2021 to 2022. So I hope I get it right. We have the addition of yet another league, which is going to enable younger and perhaps more casual people to. Is that deliberately an entry level?
Yes, because a lot of people have certain inhibitions to do this, because they might think, am I really good enough, or will I make a fool of myself, or whatever. That's why we call it the Fun League. It's there for fun, and every lounge, may it be our own, may it be our franchisees, can decide how they want to work on this Fan League, how they want to structure it. So it's a very open league to get people together, to create a community, because that's what we're equally about. We're coming from the pinnacle of motorsport, well, a lot of us in the team, and you're used to that cycle. You every year have a development plan, you every year work on that, and in the middle of the year you start looking at the next year's plan. So that's our thinking, our mindset, and that's why it's the first time this year where we actually have the actual current car. So we have the 22 setup, which the drivers are going to be racing this year. This was never the case before. So this is a new thing again in the series, and together, of course, with the whole mindset we have with giving our format, the phases, different names, and even calling the championship.
Would have done. Can I just ask, as we leave our conversation, thus far this evening with the new format, with what I think is a lovely dramatic idea of this knockout, happy with that?
Yes, there were a few hiccups here and there, but it's the first time. It's like a rehearsal we are doing today. But I think it makes it far more exciting, because you feel then the pressure of the good drivers right at the back of the grid when they get into the qualifying, the knockout race, the qualifying session, and they really have to work their way up. And if the camera is always focusing on these last two cars, you really feel that excitement. So I think we're going to go a long way with this format.
So looking forward to it. Monisha Coltonborn, thank you so much for taking time to be with us. That was really kind of you.
Thank you.
So Monisha Coltonborn then is the Chief Executive Officer of Racing Unleashed. Of course, we have a number of other people that are going to talk to us as well, including a man who I have really bigged up during the course of this evening so far. We saw him at the helm of the safety car a little while ago, and that's Nico Rindlesbacker, who, of course, Nico, 2021 when I joined this fantastic series, you were doing what I do, and that's talk. Well, you talk very well, but you can also drive a bit too, can't you?
Thank you very much, first of all. Yeah, I mean, I guess I tried my best because I felt quite pressured when I had to drive the safety car. No, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I tried to do it as good as you. So far, you did much better than me, of course, but yeah, both aspects are very cool.
So, we heard earlier on in that film that you produced earlier on with regards to the changes that have been made to the car for this year. You having experienced and driven both, how much more difficult is this one to nail, Nico?
Well, it's always difficult in the beginning to tell what's the difference. I mean, obviously it feels a lot different, and also if you watch the time that I've driven on some courses, I know then it was quite different. So gap was like 5 to 6 seconds sometimes, and yeah, I mean now it's a default setup, so there will be some setup changes as far as I know, and let's see. I think it can only get better, but first you really have to get used to it, to drive as much laps as you can, and when you do it, then I think it will be quite fun. And as we already seen in the knockout, it can be quite close with good racing. That's for me the main advantage of this.
Well, do you know, for me, being a very old fogey, what I liked about this whole knockout setup was that actually what you're delivering is actually almost 2 races, aren't you? Because, you know, wherever you're going to start that knockout, if you're misplaced, if you're not where you need to be, i.e. right at the front of the pack, you're going to have to try and overtake, aren't you, Nico?
Yes, and I mean, at first you feel like, oh, I have to overtake this guy to make it to the next lap, and all of a sudden the lap is over and you already have to be again going forward, you know, and that's something that's really fun to watch, in my opinion. I don't know, I mean, if you ask some drivers, some will think it's quite nice, others they're maybe not as happy as general, but for me I think it's quite a different approach, also regarding Formula 1 and the rest of motorsport, and it makes it quite cool to watch, in my opinion.
No, I think so. Very, very entertaining. Nico, thank you for talking to us about the cars, and right now we're going to take a look at what we've been talking about with both Nico and Monisha Coltonborn, and that's what is all new in 2022.
Thank you.
Welcome to Racing Unleashed.
Red lights are off, away we go.
Da müssen die Positionen hergeben.
¡Wow! ¡Qué adelantamiento!
Spät auf der Bremse.
Yes, indeed. We have a new name, which is called Beyond the Pinnacle. And what we do here is we create a new kind of motorsport, a motorsport 4.0, by bringing the analog world together with the virtual world. So this goes for us into the future and beyond the pinnacle. We now have 3 phases. We start with the gear up, which is approximately 15 minutes. After that, it directly goes into the knockout phase, and that's a very interesting phase because we know that in the analog sport a lot has been spoken about knockout races, reverse races, and we've now put those elements in here. So what happens is that the drivers then start behind the safety car, and they have to actually, in the lap that follows, so this first lap, get into the reverse order of their standing in the championship. So in one lap, they get into that order, and once the safety car then leaves the track and you cross the start-finish line, you're then already in a race. And the moment each lap is completed, the last 2 of that lap are eliminated. So like this, you bring in a lot of excitement, particularly at the back end. We this year have added a new league to our existing Racer League and Challenger League, and we call it the Fun League. And this is really a league, the name says it, people should come have fun. They are competitive, so I think that's going to be very similar what people want to achieve. But it's nothing at such a regular basis, it is not centralized, so each lounge, maybe ours or of our franchisees, can actually determine how they want to have this fun challenge looking like and cater to their people.
I mean, it starts in the back. You have a new rear wing, you have the winglets in general, they changed, the front wing changed. You now have coverage of the wheels, which leads the air more. The floor on the bottom is quite different, and the car is also heavier. So there are a lot of changes. I mean, obviously the weight, it's not an optic difference, but you feel it when you drive the car. And yeah, the rest is really designed to have better aerodynamics, so you feel that, but at the same point you don't reach as high speed as before. So at first it's different, but as soon as you get used to it, it's really fun. And I think if you compete on the track against others, it will be even more fun, because it feels like more pure racing. It's a whole different experience, and it will be fun.
It's much more dynamic, and compared to last year's car, it looks fresh, it looks a bit more aggressive, it looks so that you can really see a difference, because it's also like in real motorsport, when you do your car livery day, your car reveal day, it's also in the virtual world, it's also the same for us, that it's a big day. And for this year, we did something completely new. We have asked one of the famous designers in the UK, his name is Mark Antar, to come up with 2-3 proposals, how the car could look like. And then we didn't decide it, we put it in, we let our community decide. And the majority was pretty clear, and the car looks great. It looks different, it looks aggressive, it looks sportive. And it reflects also the values of Racing Unleashed.
Of course, the Chief Marketing Officer is Christine Uphoff from Racing Unleashed, along with a couple of guests as well. We have Thomas Herzog and also Tabio Veto, and I hope I've pronounced that right before you slap me. But before we talk to our guests, we're going to find out a little bit more about the subject, the topic that we will be talking about with Ralf Muller, and that is fit and fast.
Hi, my name is Ralf Muller. I'm the Chief Fitness Officer of Racing Unleashed. For esports, sim racing, physical and mental fitness is important. 30 to 60 minutes of exercises per day are important for your success. Use your bike instead of your car, or just take a walk. There are no excuses. Running, cycling, swimming or gym. Just keep it going. So get fit and fast with it. Racing Unleashed. See you soon.
As I said, the Chief Marketing Officer of Racing Unleashed is Christine Uphoff. This is just another example of you and Racing Unleashed doing things very, very properly, isn't it?
Absolutely, because Ralf Muller, he's our brand ambassador and he's our influencer, and not only this, he's our CFO, our Chief Fitness Officer. And esports is sport. You need to be trained, you need to exercise to be fit and fast in the simulators if you want to do it properly. And this is the reason why we set up this program together with Ralf Muller. At the beginning of the year, we set up a competition and asked our audience to apply if they want to be part of the Fit and Fast program. The program is pretty simple. Ralf Muller will support you, either, back from his home in Santa Monica, or via YouTube channel, or live on, if you do an Insta with him. And we were asking candidates if they want to participate. The journey is quite simple, because we want them to participate in the Challenger League at Racing Unleashed, because we want to make motorsport accessible for everyone. And this year we have 3 leagues. The first one is called, it's the fun league. It's not going to be streamed. It's just the entry, and you can go to one of the lounges when they arrange this, and you can go for a run. The second level is the so-called the Challenger League, and this is where our participants will join, and they be part of the journey. It's not only that this is a kind of a one-off. It's a program set out for the full year, for the full season. We have 10 races, including today the Prologue, and then another race, which is the Battle of Glory. And we will train them, we will support them, and we don't leave them alone on the journey. So it's quite simple, because we have 4 participants. Thomas is one of the 4. Tabea is another one, and then we have Zero. Zero is 15. He's also racing today in our lounge in Zurich, and we have Tanya, also from Switzerland, participating, because we want to attract, especially with this program, a target group which has not yet been in touch with sim racing before. We want to attract women. We want to attract people like you and me, who have not been in this fantastic simulators and did not get this experience. So, and this is, you're looking at me, I can speak for hours about this, because it's one of my heartfelt projects. I really love it. And together with our with our partners, we will make it work.
But what you're saying is just, I could listen and listen and listen, because actually what you're saying is absolutely, I'm sure, is the case. I mean, Tabea, if you wouldn't mind passing the microphone from, Christine, passing the microphone over to you.
Hello.
Clearly, you've been attracted into it, haven't you?
Yes, I'm very attracted to it. And also, I know I have to be strong to compete with the men. So I'm very happy to be part of this challenge and to be with Walt Miller, to be ready for the new season.
And, I mean, Ralph is an iconic individual, isn't he? Let's be honest, and he's certainly not somebody that I would argue with. But presumably, you find him, inspirational, and also he has the right attitude. He knows how to drive exactly what needs to be done.
Yes. His attitude is very impressive. I was very, nervous to get to know him, and he's kind of a person. I mean, he's a very special one.
And let's have a look and have a conversation now, if we can, with Thomas. Now, Thomas, if I dare say, just a bead of sweat across the forehead here, because, of course, any form of competition is going to take it out of you, which is why it's critical, isn't it, that to be fast, first you have to be fit.
That's right. As a former race car driver, I know what it means to be fit. So he shows me a few of exercises that I make at home for going fit, and I running everywhere, and I drive with my bike, and with the fitness exercises, I'm going to be fast in the cockpit. That's for sure.
And it's not only about physical, it's about mental fitness as well, isn't it?
The base of your mental fitness is to be in form with your physical. That's for sure. In every sport, you need to be fit with your physical conditions, and then the total of that is to be fit in the mental base. So that's it.
Sorry to keep juggling this microphone around, but I just want to come back to Tabea for just a moment, then, because you touched on earlier on the fact that you knew that if you're going to compete with men on equal terms, you've got to be the very best that you can be. What I'm really pleased about, and I'm not sure whether it's fit and fast or whether there was other motivations, but actually you're absolutely and utterly determined to do that, and that's so encouraging.
Yes. I already grew up with motorsports.
Yes.
And I love it forever. And so I always had to compete with men, so I know what it means. And this is just something new. I really want to get into it.
And if you wouldn't mind passing that back to Christine for me now, is this not just an example of how serious Racing Unleashed takes the whole package in terms of opportunity offering, in terms of making sure the people are prepared in the right way by making sure that the specialists are involved, etc., etc. It's just very rounded, isn't it, Christine?
Absolutely, we simply take it serious, and we do not want our participants to leave them alone on this journey. We are coaching them, we are with them, because we want to make sure that they have a good experience, that they like it, yep. And not only from a physical point of view, also from a mental point of view, because when you race in these simulators, you will have a bit of a pressure. You need to know how to handle pressure, and when you have a group, because this is also the reason why we decided that we want to go with 4 participants, because originally we would have selected 2, but we received so many good applications, and for us it was quite challenging just to vote and say no, we just only take 2, because for them it's also important, because they met each other the first time. It was on Tuesday last week when we had the filming day with Ralph, and we got into it, and to see how they get together, and how they mingle, how they, and you can also see it here, because they're here apart from Zero, who's racing in our other lounge in the circle, and because they can also interact. They can say, hey, how is it going with you? How do you are not, we don't leave them alone as Racing Unleashed, but it's a small team. And this is how we take it, and this is just a start, because for us it's not only a PR story what we do. So for us this is, as I said, it's pretty serious, and we will guide them for the full season, and we will see how we continue in 23. But this is definitely a long-term project, and it would be fantastic to see you, then this year in the Challenger League, and maybe next year in the Racer League. So this is, because we also want to give a perspective to our participants, and not only, okay, it's nice that you join us now for this season, because Racing Unleashed is a long-term project. And we want to grow. We want to, we want to improve. We want to, we never keep, where we want to be. So we always want to. It's a part of our DNA, how to say. So that we definitely, we think, oh, what went good, and how can we do it in a different way. So we're always challenging ourselves on a day-to-day business.
Well done. Tabea, Thomas, thank you for joining us. Christine, as always, lovely to talk to you, and thanks so much for what you're doing, and the way you express the desires and the community that we are building, and all being part of and really looking after, and quite clearly fit and fast is going to be the way to go.
Let me introduce the members of our Fit and Fast Challenge. The first one will be Tabea. Happy to see you.
I'm from Zurich, and I'm very happy to be a part of this challenge.
The next one, Thomas.
Hello everyone, I'm Thomas, and I like to ride fast cars.
Can't wait to work out with you. Here comes Zero.
I'm from Urdorf, and I love to sim race.
So how old you are, Zero?
I'm 15.
And you want to be a
racing driver.
Racing driver. Good to see you. You will be. Last but not least, Tanya.
Hi, I'm Tanya, and I'm from Lucerne, and I love to race.
So now you met the circle of trust. Can't wait to work out with all this great team, and of course with you guys at home. See you soon. Racing Unleashed. Get fit and fast with me.
Unleashed, and we close Talking Unleashed with Ralph Muller talking about fit and fast, and such an important program because, as I've learned over many, many years in my increasing years, age has not been kind, as you can see. Being fit is so important, and it's just an example of how Racing Unleashed really such a comprehensive package of doing everything they can to elevate our competitors and to put them into the best possible position to be successful in whatever they choose to do and whatever opportunities that are made available to them. And it's really interesting. I was talking to Jason, one of our competitors in the Challenger League here in Kemptal this weekend, and the aspirations and plans he has for motorsport, and being fit and fast is so important as part of it. So there we are, Ralph Muller then, who's joined us very much as our fitness ambassador in Racing Unleashed, and doing a very good job with a number of our competitors. So it's just one, as I say, of the elements that is this comprehensive package of looking after our competitors and doing everything we can to elevate them. And of course, there is no question about it that sim racing and real racing, if you will, the gap between the two is narrowing. And this is so important in recognizing and identifying the talent of the future that will go through to probably exceptional racing careers in years to come. So still to come, of course, we have our race today at the Red Bull Ring, and this will be for our Challenger drivers. As I mentioned, it's Racer League tomorrow, Challenger League today. So over the course of the weekend, this brilliant opportunity where we see the Challenger League on the Saturday and then the Racer League on the Sunday. So two opportunities for you to enjoy our racing from Racing Unleashed. The Red Bull Ring, Spielberg, as Carl Wendlinger took us on a hot lap earlier on and illustrated just how this circuit it's a real short lap, 4.3 kilometers, 10 turns, 3 of them left, 7 of them right-handers. And as you've seen from the lap times that we've taken out of Gear Up and our knockout qualifying session, it's a very, very quick lap here at the Red Bull Ring. And the drivers, when they all get together now, and I have to say, Race Control, as we've been enjoying Talking Unleashed, Race Control have not stopped looking at all the incidents there were during Gear Up. And not Gear Up, the knockout qualifying session. And the grid that will form for our race may be somewhat different to what the results were at the end of our knockout qualifying session, because penalties might be awarded, and of course they will be revealed when we see the grid. But Race Control working really, really hard on all the things that went on, and there were quite a few incidents during the knockout qualifying. So we've heard from Ralph Muller about Fit and Fast, which is an ongoing program which will continue throughout the course of the season. He is very much our fitness ambassador for Racing Unleashed, and very critical, important part of that as well. I perhaps also made a small mistake teaching Nico. But we will see. So the race itself then will be 30 minutes long. And we're around the Red Bull Ring circuit, and the grid will be revealed once Race Control have deliberated over all of everything that they needed to look into, and there was plenty for them to look into after the knockout session. As I mentioned, our calendar this year, and we went through the fantastic array of circuits that we will be going to during 2022. We have 2 non-championship events, if you like. The first one of those was the Prologue, which was here just a couple of weeks ago. And then we have our Race for Glory in December, just ahead of Christmas, of course. Seems a long way away now, doesn't it? Here we are in March, but the time will go really, really quickly, and we have such an array of circuits for us to visit before then, and we alluded to that earlier on, and of course we did reveal the calendar. So I mentioned earlier on that a couple of weeks ago we held our Prologue event, which was thoroughly enjoyable and really very good racing as well. And only fair for you to enjoy a recap, if you like, of our Prologue, which took place just a couple of weeks ago.
And we've got the lights coming on. 3, 4. My goodness, they're quick with race control. And then they're held and held and held and held. And now we go. The smoke comes off, and a really poor start for Zero Zambra, who got caught out by those lights. As I say, race control held onto the cars for a long time before they were released. So we reckon 14 laps of this Zurich Airport circuit then for these drivers says, let's go racing. This is the Prologue, Racing Unleashed, live from the Zurich Airport circuit with Angelo Michel, of course, from that pole position. And here is Zero Zambra then trying to make up for that start, which didn't go according to plan. Side by side they go, almost some panel rubbing between the two of them. And Bruder are now relegated to P6 as Zero Zambra up to P5, but they're neck and neck and absolutely side by side here. And now getting the real run is Bruder. Oh, and a little bit of contact there for Zambra, and another car goes right into the barriers. I have a feeling that was Herzog, you know. Severin Bruder then very much in the action, getting past Zambra. Here comes Zambra with the fight back, got the inside line. But that soon becomes the outside for the next turn. Wow, king of the late breakers there. As Severin Bruder now dives to the inside. But what a fight is going on here. This is the contest for P6 at the moment. And a brilliant contest it is. This race is going by so quickly. What a great race we're enjoying. Angelo Michel from Devon Iskro, from Vediger, then it is Vonenberg, and a strife for Lorenzo Hayder into the gravel. So Lorenzo Hayder goes off. And Aaron then gets very cleanly overtaken. I half wonder whether there might be something wrong with the Enrique Marinon car there, because that overtake looked to be almost too easy. But here comes Enrique Marinon fighting back now. You can see a whole gaggle of cars now contesting these places. There's 4 cars involved in this as one goes around. And the one that went around was Matetzi, I believe. Enrique Marinon gets by Mikael Fry, but here comes Fry, take that, and comes back. And now Marinon comes back as well. Extraordinary between the two of them, the fight that they're having here. And of course all this is just playing into the whoa. Well, that was a turnaround if ever there was one. And here's Kevin Abbey is right in the thick of it here. Oh, and a little side swipe there between the two of them. Kevin Abbey survived that okay. The others certainly didn't. Teufen is currently P10. Kevin Abbey is the car behind him. This is John Teufen that we're on board with now. He's in our lounge, our racing lounge in Zurich. He goes over the hump on the track then and gets ever closer to the P9 driver that's just ahead of him. John Teufen has got him very much in his target sights. Whether he can get on terms, that's quite another question. It's all very well being as quick as the car in front of you. You've got to find a way by it. This is Andre Wagner then, who has Kevin Abbey, the very wayward Kevin Abbey at times, ahead of him as Andre Wagner gets wayward on his own. Just a complete miscalculation of steering input. The car was up on 2 wheels. Andre Wagner, what advantage he'd got, he's completely lost now as he's dropped way back to P17. So Sebastian Hirsch, well, making contact with the barriers there, just seemed to lose grip. And that has dropped him down to P15. Oh, and Lorenzo Hayder then, it goes from bad to worse as he clatters into the barriers. Here's Tiziano Caponio. Tiziano Caponio then currently running in P5. It's Vonenberg ahead in that P4 position. And you can see the top 3 have really broken away from them a bit. So we're thinking that Dedic got a drive-through penalty, which is why he's disappeared off the results chart. Oh, Tiziano Caponio there. That was a real nerf between the two of them. Now, I'm not sure that Vonenberg was at fault there, because I think it seemed to me like Capone just got very, very sideways, and Vonenberg, I don't know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I wasn't really looking quite closely enough of it at it going on, but Vonenberg is fighting back now. So it's an inversion of places, because it's P4 and P5 now with the roles reversed. Enrique Marinon in P12, Kevin Abey P11, Mikael Frey is P10. As Enrique Marinon now is closer than he's been to Kevin Abey for a while. He tries to dive to the inside, then goes to the outside. So Abey very much closed the door. They're side by side now. Enrique Marinon trying to have a go here to the inside, but that quickly becomes the outside. So surely Abey's going to be able to take this back, and he does for the moment. But now Enrique Marinon once again back on the inside. Hayder is getting closer to them, because the more these two fight, of course, it is slowing them down, and that's allowing those behind to get a little bit closer. So there is Enrique Marinon. Kevin Abey stays P11. Enrique Marinon for the moment stays P12, but will that change again in the next few hundred meters of tarmac, as they're onto the circle straight now? The straight so named because it is very much curved and therefore isn't straight, but by goodness, you carry some speed around there. Enrique Marinon and Kevin Abey fighting tooth and nail between the two of them. At the moment, it's Abey that's got the whip hand. Oh, as Enrique Marinon very nearly shortcutted and got sideways there going through that turn, but managed to hold on to it, thankfully. As Enrique Marinon once again now takes the fight to Kevin Abey. It's been one of the most intense fights, and it's for P11 and P12. Kevin Abey, Enrique Marinon continuing to fight as hard as they are. Absolutely brilliant to watch. Using every single bit of track that they possibly can to try and unsettle each other. Whoa! Jan Teufen is right in the mix here. Enrique Marinon is on something of a mission, and that played into the hands of Jan Teufen, who was able to get back by Farland. Here comes Farland having a go. And to the inside, Teufen on the outside, but he'll have a slightly better trajectory, and he'll be in the right place for the left-hander that is coming next, and they make contact. There's contact between the two of them. What's that going to do for the next turn? And behind them, you've got Abey and the returning Dominic Dedic. Bear in mind, Dominic Dedic had a drive-through penalty earlier on, and look at the speed and the pace that he's got now, and he's still fancying his chances in this race. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Oh, no! Now finds himself right in the metal of it, because he's up against the Armco barriers. What a shame. Dominic is trying to find a way by. He slips out of the slipstream, dives to the inside. His racing room left just, and Dedic puts himself back ahead of Farland. But for how long? Because this has raged and raged and raged, and looks like it will continue to rage right until the end of this race. But Angelo Michel then, who did all the hard work in the new qualifying, will win the first event of 2022. Angelo Michel from Munich. He takes the victory. Vettiger is going to seal P2, and Devin Isgro is going to be P3.
That was our wonderful prologue event, and we'll be speaking in our Talking Unleashed program tomorrow to Angelo Michel, the winner of that prologue event. Of course, he isn't our only guest in Talking Unleashed tomorrow. We'll also be talking to Leandro Huber about Racing Unleashed overall. Of course, the CEO, Monisha Coltonborn. I'll have the privilege of talking to Monisha once again tomorrow, which will be always enjoyable. We'll also go to Richard Biegler, who's the race lounge manager in Munich. And it'll be really interesting to hear from someone that's on the ground, if you will, in terms of running one of our racing lounges, how the lounge is doing, and also how when we integrate the Beyond the Pinnacle competition for 2022, what impact that has on a Racing Lounge manager in terms of day-to-day operations. So we'll be talking to him. We'll also be talking to Christina Uphoff still further about the Fit and Fast program, which you've heard about from our ambassador, of course, Ralf Muller. So Christina Uphoff will be giving us more information with regards to the Fit and Fast program and how that impacts and affects and helps us with Racing Unleashed. And then last but not least, we will also have Fabian Vettel, who is an ambassador for Racing Unleashed. And we'll be talking to Fabian, and I hope I'm going to be able to push him into talking about some of his racing career. I've had the privilege of commentating on Fabian for a number of years across a number of things that he's doing, but he's now very much a Racing Unleashed ambassador and really loves and enjoys his sim racing as well. So we'll have a conversation with Van Vettel. So all that to come during the course of our Talking Unleashed program, which will be tomorrow, where of course we'll be focusing on the Racer League. Today it is very much the Challenger League, and I am told that Race Control have dished out all the penalties as necessary following our knockout qualifying session earlier on today. And we will be seeing what impact and effect that has on the grid, of course, when we go to the grid ahead of the start of our race a little bit later on in today's program. So today, Challenger League and those fine drivers that are taking part in the Challenger League. Incidentally, a number of those, including Thomas Herzog and also Ciro Zambra, are part of the Fit and Fast program that I was talking about, which is headed up by Ralf Muller, and a number of our Racer Leagues also involved. Racer League drivers, I should say, also involved in that Fit and Fast program as well. So, Talking Unleashed tomorrow then, featuring Angelo Miguel and Leandro Huber, also Monisha Coltonborn, Richard Bickler, who is our manager from the Racing Lounge in Munich, which of course is very much part of our competition today. We'll be talking to Christina Uphoff about Fit and Fast, and Fabian Vettel as well. He'll be joining us. That's all to look forward to in Talking Unleashed tomorrow. Talking Unleashed will form part of our program for every Racing Unleashed program, and it just gives us the opportunity to speak to some of those that are movers and shakers within Racing Unleashed, as well as celebrity guests and of course competitors as well on occasions. So it is very much a nice part of our program for Racing Unleashed. Enough talking from me. Let's get into our race. The Challenger League today, coming from the Red Bull Ring.
Welcome to Racing Unleashed.
Red lights are off, away we go!
Da müssen die Positionen hergeben.
Wow, qué adelantamiento.
Speed auf der Bremse.
Here they go, flat out, really good stuff.
Tremenda pelea.
The two cars make contact.
Unglaublich.
Wow, qué pelea.
Was war das für ein Rennen?
This is Racing Unleashed.
Here we go. Hold on to your hats, because we're going to be going racing shortly. Now, of course, I've been saying that the knockout did drive all the drama that we expected in our qualifying session, and Race Control have been burning the midnight oil in terms of trying to put everyone into their correct positions. And I mean, look at them! What a fine body of people I can see from my studio. And this is what we have ended up with: Nico Farland, P1. Then it's going to be Martin Oberholzer, Thomas Herzog, then Ciro Zambra, ahead of Tiziano Caponio, David Seed. Going to be one to watch. Jason Bleissig. Then it's Yannick Schmidt, Piers Meyer, and Fabian Meyer. So this is the confirmed way and lineup. NG, then it's Jason Ferrati ahead of Michael Roland. Frank Seifert, Andrin Kiefer, Michael Frey, Theo Vida, Simone Demivast, Astrid Vollenweider, who will want to be doing lots of overtaking, and Marcus Valverde. Those the 2 years before we find Matthias Uverkirk and Joshua Hader. You may recall in that quali session, Joshua Hader's car ended up on 2 wheels. Whoa. It's just part of the entertainment that we bring you as Racing Unleashed. So very much looking forward to the race, which will be getting underway shortly. And, of course, we'll bring you the grid animation as well. But it was only fair to bring you that table of who would be going from where following the decisions from race control, who, as I say, have burned the midnight oil to give us a classification from our knockout qualifying session. So we're looking forward to the race. 30 minutes to come then across this Red Bull Ring circuit, then really fast circuit, 4.3 kilometers, 10 challenging turns, 3 of them to the left, 7 of them to the right. And it's a real roller coaster. Really, really enjoyable for our drivers to drive at, and looking forward to a very, very good race during the course of today. Our Challenger League, our Racer League will be adopting the same circuit tomorrow. And of course, all our drivers in our lounges, which are situated here in Kemptal, which is where our broadcast center is. And then we have Madrid and Zurich and Calm and Munich as well. Let's take a look at the starting grid then from back to front. Joshua Hader goes from P22. And then it's Joshua. We saw you. Joshua's in Zurich, incidentally. Joshua, we saw you then with your car on 2 wheels during that knockout qualifying session. My goodness me. I've said that Red Bull Ring is a roller coaster. You really made it a roller coaster, didn't you?
Yes, I was spinning in the first corner, I think. And then I was a bit angry. So I spin again in corner 5 or 6. And then I was in the first round out, and then I drove straight away into the wall, and then that's it. This was the reason why I think I was on two wheels.
So Joshua, you've got a lot of overtaking to do in the race, friend.
Yes, nice. I will pushing, of course, and we will see how it ends.
Wish you the best of luck. Joshua
Thank
Hader
you.
then going from P22. Matthias Uverkirk then, who's got his headphones off, he goes from P21. He is in our racing lounge in Calm, as you can see. The oldest participant in our Racing Unleashed. Marcus Valverde, and he's going from P20. And Astrid Vollenweider from Zurich, who is going from P19. Astrid, good afternoon to you. Best of luck for the race. Qualifying the knockout. Had you hoped for better than P19?
Plotsen, ja, ich habe kein Englisch.
Ah.
Sorry, I don't understand English. Can I?
Well, you know, just to hear your laughter is enough to motivate us, Astrid, so that's absolutely fine. You'll be terribly disappointed to learn that I'm not very good in any other language than English, so that's the heck of that. But Astrid, P1 for you.
Yeah, I hope just for a good race.
Thank you, Astrid. And thank you for talking to us in a slightly disconcerting language for you. Simone Demivast goes from P18. He's racing in our lounge in Munich, as indeed is the driver going from P17, Theo Vida. So Theo Vida, who looks so calm, cool and collected inside the sim at the moment. I don't know whether he is just focusing on that first turn. Here in Kemptal, Michael Frey, also imagining every turn, as is Andrin Kiefer, who's listening to some hip-hop at the moment, as you can see, because he's just nodding his head from side to side. He's in Zurich. Andrin, going from P15 on the grid. Podium is what you're after, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I try my best.
How difficult was it during the knockout phase, Andrin? Because, of course, you've got so many cars around you, and therefore track space is always compromised, isn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, but it was okay. It was a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to the race.
Good luck, Adrian. He
Thank
goes
you.
from P15 as we continue our quest through the grid then of all our drivers that are taking place. Frank Seifert goes from P14, another one of our more senior drivers. Good luck to you, Frank, in Munich. Michael Rollin is from Calm, P13. Jason Ferrati then, I was talking to him. He's got aspirations for a fine motorsport career, and NG is missing from his sim. He's going from P11 from Madrid. Fabian Meyer then in Munich going from P10 with Piers Meyer also here in Kemptal. He goes from P9 on the grid. We get to the sharp end now as Yannick Schmidt, he goes from P8, he's based in Munich, and Jason Bleissig then will be going from P7 in our racing lounge in Calm. David Seed, very much one to watch, I think, in this race. From Madrid, he goes from P6, and in Zurich, it's Tiziano Caponio. He will be going from P5 on the grid. So to the front two rows then, or the first two rows, Ciro Zambra, Zurich P4, Thomas Herzog P3 after race control looked at everything. Good position for you.
My position, yes, third position is good. So it was not expected. So so the heat is on. the fast guy is coming behind me, from behind me, and we will see what happens.
Thomas Herzog, also part of our Fit and Fast program. He is going from P3. Thank you for speaking to us. Good luck to you, Thomas. Let's go to the front row of the grid now then, where it's Martin Oberholzer goes from P2 on the grid. Martin has got his
Martin, du bist jetzt gerade dran.
Let's see if we can talk to him. So, Martin, P2 on the grid. You're on the front row.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here in the front row. And yeah, it's going to be fun, I'm sure.
Martin here in Kemptal, and P1 Nico Farland, the man that's going to be singing for us if he wins the race. Pole position, Nico. 30-minute race ahead of you. You're all smiles now.
Yes, I'm moving forward for the win. Keep pushing.
You've got to keep pushing
ready.
on. Nico Farland is ready, full of confidence and full of everything on that right foot, of course. Good luck to all of our drivers. And Nico Farland, then, our pole position driver. It's brilliant to be able to talk to all the drivers on the grid ahead of the start of the race. So the last thing they need, truthfully, is someone like me sticking a microphone up their trumpet to talk to me just ahead of the start of the race. But it's all part of the whole entertainment package that we bring you with Racing Unleashed. So the cars are set, the drivers are set, and we are ready to go racing. My God, goodness, it's going to be a good one here at the Red Bull Ring. All of those drivers jostling for positions, and there they are then. The lighting gantry you can see at the top of the screen then. Nico Farland then going from pole position. And of course, we await the red lights to come on, and when the red lights go out, we will be racing. It's going to be a real funnel up into turn number one, the Niki Lauda turn number one. Hold on to your hats, hold on to everything, because we are about to go racing. In charge of the start sequence is race control, and there you can see the light. We put them into graphics for you as well, right at the top of the screen. We actually go one better with Racing Unleashed because we have 6 red lights. When the lights are out, oh, they're held for a long time. Let's go now. So Nico Farland then will try and dive to the inside to protect the inside line going into turn number one. But as I said, watch out for the drivers from row 2, and all of a sudden we can see that Nico has been relegated. It's Herzog who has got a blistering start. Thomas Herzog that we spoke to just at the start of the grid formation, that is P1. A member of our Fit and Fast program is leading the race with Nico Farland P2, Seed is P3. Then it's Schmidt and Meyer and Zambra and Rollin, and Ferrati is also making good progress up to P8. So here is Nico Farland then, gonna have to put the chase on to Thomas Herzog. His pole position then did not immediately transfer into the race lead. Thomas Herzog with a blistering start from the second row of the grid is leading this race, and he's trying to build up a gap already over Nico Farland, and he's up to 6/10 between P1 and P2. Round the final turn now to put the first lap in the book, and Seed is one to keep an eye on as well, because he's very close in that P3 position at the moment. The top three really breaking away from Schmidt in P4 and the rest of the pack. So David Seed then, he means business here. Let's go on board with him now as he tries to get by Nico Farland, then almost touching wheels. Now Nico Farland's going to have the inside line into turn number 3 and holds on to that. David Seed is denied. Now if David Seed can build speed down in towards turn number 4, he may be able to have another go. Nico Farland going into turn number 4, but not close enough to be able to do so. So the order is Thomas Herzog from Nico Farland, and then it's David Seed in P3. So there is Nico Farland. He'll be furious that he wasn't able to convert that pole position into the race lead immediately. And Jason Ferrati is up to P6. He was one of our tips. And David Seed also one of our tips as well, and he runs in P3 at the moment. So 26 laps around this Red Bull Ring circuit, and we're about to put the second of those laps into the book as David Seed once again puts the pressure on Nico Farland. It's a long way around the outside, and sure enough, David Seed, by using the inside line, has gone through into P2. So Nico Farland then, with the threat of singing at the end of the race, is going backwards. Jason Ferrati then, he is up to P6, and he's after Zambra ahead of him, trying to reel in the Zambra car, which is running in P5. So good driving from Jason Ferrati right from the start of the race. Thomas Herzog with 4/10 of margin over David Seed. And here is Jason Ferrati then. He's got huge aspirations for his racing career. Was telling me all about the GT racing that he's planning in parallel to the sim racing campaign that he contests as well, with his ultimate aim of being one of the drivers Le Mans. And Jason Ferrati able to take advantage of the mistakes made by Nico Farland, who's dropped down to P4 now with that very sideways moment. And also David Seed has gone backwards as well. So now we're into Herzog and Zambra P1 and P2, with Jason Ferrati in a podium position as Fabian Meyer then. And Jason Ferrati is really meaning business here. So Jason Ferrati on the inside, but not able to carry quite as much speed through that inside line going up towards the next turn. This is Fabian Meyer, who is currently running in P8 with Josh Hader ahead of him. And here is PS. He's live in our lounge in Kemptal. Executes a perfect turn 3 move. P9 is for PS Meyer now. Thomas Herzog leading, and Thomas Herzog doing a really good job. He's built a gap of 3.2 seconds over Zambra, running in P2. And then a further 7/10 behind is Jason Ferrati, then running in P3. But this is the P9 driver at the moment. You can see the 09 on the wheel cover, indicating and trying to help you as much as possible in terms of covering the race action. Leisig is dropping down the order as well. He's gone down to P13 now. This is our Challenger League racing here today at the Red Bull Ring. The Racer League to come tomorrow. Now Nico Farland sets the fastest lap. He's got overtaking to do now because he is down in P4. Bear in mind that Nico Farland started from P1. Here's Simone Demivast then, and he's running down there in P11 at the moment. And Marcus Valverde sets a fastest lap with a 109.126. So good driving from Valverde, who also is further down the order than he would like to be. As one car goes around then and makes contact. That was on the run between turn 1 and 2. This is David Seed, who was also featuring in the sharp end of the results in the early stages of the race, but now is down to P6 and 06, as you can see. Let's go on board with David Seed now. And he's got a clear track ahead of him, but that's not what he wants to see. He wants to see cars ahead of him that he can overtake. And at the moment, he is using every single opportunity to use, whilst he has got the track space ahead of him, to make every lap a quali lap and to be as fast as he possibly can. So Nico Farland then is one place away from a podium at the moment, because Jason Ferrati it is that he is chasing, and Jason Ferrati, he indeed is chasing the Zambra car ahead of him. He would very much like P2 rather than P3. So here is Jason Ferrati then, just closing in on the Zambra car. Ciro Zambra then running in P2. And Jason Ferrati in that P3 position at the moment. Thomas Herzog, though, is having a great time of it with a 1.8 second margin up the road. Because, of course, the more that Ciro Zambra and Jason Ferrati are fighting, it just plays nicely into the hands of Thomas Herzog, who's able to escape up the road. This is NG then, who made it into the cockpit of his sim. You may recall he wasn't in his sim as we went through the grid animation, but he has made it in plenty of time and is currently running in the points in that P10 position at the moment. It's Herzog from Zambra, from Ferrati, Farland, Kiefer, Sid, Schmidt, Meyer, Demurba, and NG then, who round out the top 10. And Ciro Zambra then setting a fastest lap in his quest to get on terms with Thomas Herzog. And David Seed now posting a fastest lap. He is in P6 position at the moment. Demurba is P9. Just saw him through the Niki Lauda turn. Sinan Demurbass. And he is very much reeling in. Meyer ahead. There's going to be an overtake potentially here going into turn 3. And sure enough, up the inside. But then carries too much speed and runs wide. All his fine efforts, well, counted as naught in the end. Tiziano Caponio now setting a fastest lap. Now you see fastest laps come now because the tyres are up to temperature, fuel load is reduced just a little bit, and so the track is rubbering in nicely and allowing our drivers to really push these cars. Sinan Demurbass then, P9, with Meyer ahead, and ahead of Meyer is Schmid, who is in that P7 position. Sinan Demurbass then, P9 currently. It's Herzog, then it's Zambra, then it is Ferrati. Here is our race leader, Thomas Herzog. Part of the Fit and Fast program with Ralf Muller is P1. He had a superb start from the second row of the grid and just put himself in that P1 position and has not looked back since. We follow him on his exit out of turn 3, the run down towards turn number 4 before the roller coaster really unleashes its full effect here at the Red Bull Ring. Forgive the unleashed pun. 0-1, P1 for Thomas Herzog. And here we can see him hard at work in the sim here. Look at the concentration, look at the focus. Thomas Herzog doing a really, really good job. Focusing on every single corner, using every single centimetre of tarmac to good effect. Jason Blasig in a fight here with Oberholzer as well. And Fabian Meyer is next in his target sights. So plenty of action going on throughout the pack of cars. This race that Thomas Herzog is leading, incidentally, Ciro Zambra was quicker than Thomas Herzog on the last lap. But, and you can now see that Ciro Zambra has broken away a bit from Jason Ferrati. Now, the more that Ciro Zambra is able to pile the pressure on Thomas Herzog, it will play into the hands of Jason Ferrati as well, who will hope that he can get a bit closer. So we'll see how that develops, but Ciro Zambra definitely with that modus operandi of getting ahead of Thomas Herzog as early as possible in this race. And look at the gap. It's come down to just 4 tenths between P1 and P2. And it's another 5 tenths before we get back to P3 with Jason Ferrati. Those three have broken away a bit from Nico Farland, who I remember was our pole sitter. Ciro Zambra then. All of these drivers so good, and trying to find a 10th or even a 100th between them is very difficult indeed. So Ciro Zambra, he's the one doing the chase in. He's running in the dirty air behind Thomas Herzog. And then Jason Ferrati has also got the hurry up as well, because he's got a bit closer, and so too Nico Farland. So we could be into a 4-way fight for the lead before many more laps of unfurled here at the Red Bull Ring. So on board with Nico Farland now. Now that's the view he has in front of him, the 3 cars that he is chasing. So Nico Farland did a great job in qualifying and started from pole position, and then involved in, unfortunately, being overtaken right at the start of the race, and he finds himself languishing, and I'm sure languishing is the right word, and he would probably use that as well in P4. It's not where he wants to be. As Ciro Zambra now past the pressure on Thomas Herzog. Thomas Herzog having to metaphorically stick his elbows out and make the car as wide as possible in defensive moves against Ciro Zambra, and Jason Ferrati is sniffing the opportunity here as well. So Ciro Zambra, in terms of trying to overtake Thomas Herzog, doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable. Oh, and Zambra has gone around. So Ciro Zambra then, in his quest to try and get in terms with Thomas Herzog, has gone around, and Jason Ferrati has also been part of that, and that sees him back down. So all of a sudden we see big changes in the sharp end of this race, because David Seed is now P2. Nico Farland was able to keep his cool whilst everybody else was losing theirs, and finds himself into a podium place. He's P3, and Ciro Zambra now is P4. And Tiziano Caprioni boasts the fastest lap. So Nico Farland is in a podium place. Thomas Herzog, though, just keeping it clean and tidy and doing a very good job, and letting everything else happen behind him. Well, he is just able to focus and concentrate on everything that he needs to do, and it's a very good example of great driving from Thomas Herzog at the moment. So Ciro Zambra will be really upset. Now, did Ciro lose the back end of the car through turn number 1, or was there a small assist there, perhaps from a car following him? The nearest car to him was Jason Ferrati. Well, race control will be looking at that for sure. We didn't see it on our camera angle, so it is merely conjecture on our part. So Ciro Zambra now in P4. Nico Farland very much within his sights. So Nico Farland then, who's in that P3 position at the moment, he too is now going to have to defend from Ciro Zambra, and we've seen just how lively Zambra is, and you can see Nico Farland protecting the inside line through turn number 4, managing to hold on to that P3 position. Ciro is definitely meaning business here, and wants at the very least to get a podium out of this. Thomas Herzog, meantime, is 1.5 seconds up the road, because of course all the fighting is going on behind him. Well, not with David Seed, who is in that P2 position and doing a good job in our lounge in Madrid. Jason Ferrati then, who's here in Kemptal, is P5, and of course he would like to get past Ciro Zambra. Ciro Zambra, we know, is particularly so bitterly disappointed that it all went horribly wrong for him just a couple of laps ago. Would you believe it? Can you believe it? We are on lap 13 of 26, which means we've reached half distance in the race already. The laps just fly by, and all the social media to the right-hand side of the picture at the top of the screen that you can see. We'd love you to be part of the Racing Unleashed family, and whatever social media is your preference, please join us on Racing Unleashed. It's Racing Unleashed. Racing-Unleashed.com is the official website. So to the right-hand side of your picture, you can see Marcus Valverde, who's got by Bleistig and now finds himself in P14. To the left-hand side of the screen, it's Jason Ferrati, who is P5. Here is David Seed, who is not making the progress on Thomas Herzog that he would like, probably. Now, Thomas Herzog has been utterly faultless, but as they go across the timing line, let's get a live gap between the two of them, because David Seed was quicker, so it's down to just 5/10, and I don't know whether you noticed, but as we run up, you can see now that Thomas Herzog is going to have traffic to get by as well, so this could play nicely into the hands of David Seed, as Thomas Herzog will try and navigate those back-marking cars of Vida and Seifert. As Caponio has gone into the pit, he's got his back-marking cars to try and get by and not leave himself vulnerable to an overtake potential from David Seed. So he's got past the first one very well, and in fairness, those drivers behaving like perfect gentlemen in making sure that they don't impede our leaders as they make their way through. This is Ondrin Kafer, who is P5 at the moment, with Ciro Zambra ahead.
Here, race control.
And
here, race control.
Race control now.
Drive through for Jason Ferrati. Drive through penalty for Jason Ferrati.
Oh my goodness me, Jason Ferrati gets a drive-through penalty.
Split.
Because he has got a drive-through penalty. Here comes David Seed then on the inside of Thomas Herzog through turn number 3. And he's done it. So David Seed occupies the lead now. Thomas Herzog, who had done so well, now finds himself in P2. Nico Farland is P3. Then it's Ciro Zambra P4 and Ciro Zambra. So Thomas Herzog, who had led the first half of this race, fell prey to the overtake from David Seed at the favourite place for overtaking here at the Red Bull Ring, which is into turn number 3. Now, with Thomas Herzog's confidence having taken just a little bit of a wound, will that play into the hands of Nico Farland, who is 7/10 down the road from Thomas Herzog? But David Seed is just escaping up the road here from Thomas Herzog. I mean, David has obviously got the pace. He had to find a way through, and he did. Dive to the inside going into turn number 3. And from that point on, Thomas Herzog was defenseless. So David Seed leading the race from Thomas Herzog, Nico Farland, then it's Ciro Zambra, and then it's Kaifer, Demurba, Schmidt, Meyer, and NG, and then Ferrati having served his drive-through penalty. Well, to be fair, he's come back into the points. He's in P10. So the right-hand side of the screen is Michael Rollin, you can see, who's running in P15. Farland is P3. David Seed, in the space of just 3 laps, has opened up a gap of 1.6 seconds. Make that 1.7 now. Replay of the start then. And there you can see Jason Bleissig tagged and managed to get it pointing in the right direction. This is Tiziano Caponio, who also found a spinning moment through the gravel trap. Martin Oberholzer then. So that was really, really good to get that replay of the start. Thanks to our team for doing that. Thomas Herzog then. As Ciro Zambra is P4. Nico Farland is P3. Here is Martin Oberholzer then. Ahead of him is Michael Rollin, and Martin Oberholzer going for a move here. Right-hand side of his screen as we split the screen then. He's going to be on the outside of turn number 3, which is not optimum. Tries to outbrake, and there you can see the car ahead, Michael Rollin, just making it very, very wide. So Ciro Zambra then, and this is Yannick Schmidt in that beautiful coloured and liveried car. Let's have a look at Jason Ferrati then. We mentioned that he got a drive-through penalty. This in slow-mo is why. Well, there you can see precisely why Jason Ferrati got his drive-through penalty. He's made it back into P10, and actually this is NG in Madrid, who is P9, who is the next driver that Ferrati would like to get by. But he's got work to do that. We're on lap 18 of 26. The race that's being led by David Seed, with Thomas Herzog, who led the first half of the race so well in P2, with Nico Farland then in P3, with this driver, Ciro Zambra, running in P4. So, with lap 18 that we are on now, Ciro Zambra, incidentally, also another one of our drivers involved in the Fit and Fast program with Ralf Muller, as Martin Oberholzer here. gets by Mikael Rolin. And that change for P15, so Mikael Rolin relegated to P16, and it's P15 for Oberholzer. Ahead of him is Frey and Bleisig and Valverde. Oh, diving to the inside now is Ciro Zambra. So Ciro Zambra takes away that P3 from Nico Farland with the perfect overtake execution into turn number 3. Just set that up absolutely perfectly with the momentum gained from turn 1 and through the kink, which is turn number 2. So our pole sitters, our podium sitters at the moment are David Seed, who is so far up the road, 3 seconds. Then it's Thomas Herzog, steadfast in P2, and then Ciro Zambra. Now, Ciro Zambra, of course, will try and reel in Thomas Herzog. Fabian Meyer is having a great race as well, although just being overtaken by Rolin, and Fabian Meyer trying to fight back and losing out to Oberholzer as well. P17 for Fabian Meyer at the moment. Talking of Fabians, may I remind you our Talking Unleashed program tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be talking to one Mr. Fabian Vettel. So Ciro Zambra closing in on Thomas Herzog in P2. David Seed maintaining his lead of some 3 seconds. 3.6 seconds it's reduced now to 3.2, 3.5. You can see it changes through every sector, of course. And Ciro Zambra in that P3 position at the moment. David Seed and Thomas Herzog P1 and P2. This is Piers Meyer, who is P8 at the moment, with Schmidt ahead and NG behind. So that's P7 and P9 respectively. Jason Ferrati then, who suffered the ignominy of a drive-through penalty when in podium place, finds himself in the points, but P10. Talented young drivers throughout the pack. As we put another lap in the book, and we start lap 21 of 26, so just 5 laps remaining of this Red Bull Ring circuit, as Piers Meyer once really, really wide, and that plays into the hands of NG then, who is P9. Surely he's going to get a draft now, and P9 could become P8. It's on the outside at turn number 3, and well, Meyer has done enough to be able to just close that door. Ciro Zambra then now finds himself P2 and has got by Thomas Herzog. So Thomas Herzog still in a podium place, but it is P3, and Nico Farland is looking very, very menacing as well. So the final podium place could be up for grabs here for Nico Farland, who, I remind you, started in pole position. David Seed is so far up the road, he's brewing a cup of coffee. He is P1. And then it's this 3-way fight going on for P2 and 3. P2 is with Ciro Zambra at the moment, and P3 with Thomas Herzog, the driver that led the first half of this race. Simone Demivast, as we split the screen, who's running in P6 at the moment, with Andre Kiefer ahead. And then Nico Farland. Nico Farland, the man that's really piling the pressure on Thomas Herzog at the moment. So Ciro Zambra's broken out something of a margin between himself and Thomas Herzog to reassure and reconfirm that P2 place. David Seed continuing to add time to the gap between P1 and P2. It's 4.5 seconds as near as makes no difference now. So Thomas Herzog with 4 laps remaining in this Challenger League race here at the Red Bull Ring in P3. And Martin Oberholzer, I think we saw at the side of the track there in the number 17 car, not impacting any of those other drivers. Let's hear from Race Control once again. I think we have audio from Race Control.
Race control here. Tiziano Caponio causing a collision, 10 seconds penalty. Mathis Overkirk drive-through penalty because of unsporty behavior and causing a collision. Andrin Käfer and Martin Oberholzer, causing a collision, 5 seconds penalty. Thank you.
So a number of penalties being dished out then for causing collisions and unsportsmanlike behaviour as well. Not really impacting or affecting the front runners in this race, which David Seed is still leading as Simone Demivast loses out to Käfer. As Käfer moves up, Jason Ferrati then wants to improve and does so by getting past Meyer and moving up to P9. But P.S. Meyer is trying to come back. Oh, there's a touch between the two of them. And, well, good respectful driving through turn number 4 as Jason Ferrati does move up into P9 and P.S. Meyer is relegated to P10. On lap 25 of 26 laps of the Red Bull Ring circuit. This is Racing Unleashed, and this is our race leader, David Seed, who starts the final lap with a 3.8 second margin over Ciro Zambra, who in turn is well ahead of Thomas Herzog. It's Nico Farland who might have an opportunity to try and get a podium out of this race by getting by Thomas Herzog, because the gap between them is tiny. Thomas Herzog, as a very minimum, deserves a podium. And there is Ciro Zambra in P2. Here's NG still fighting, having got by Meyer. So even in the final throes of this race, there's still plenty of overtaking going on, and Demurba gets by Käfer as well, and that's a change for P5. David Seed then has got one more turn to do before the checkered flag will await. And in race 1 of Racing Unleashed for 2022 in the Challenger League, David Seed wins from Ciro Zambra, and Thomas Herzog takes P3. Well, you can hear the excitement elevating from the studio here. And David Seed quietly going about his job in Madrid and takes that P1 position. Here's Jason Bleissig, and there is Thomas Herzog. Well, as I said, he led over 50% of that race, and I thought was a shoe-in for the win, but it wasn't to be. Ciro Zambra also pretty happy as well, and credit to all our drivers, including Marcus Valverde. A number of drivers did get some penalties, but forgive me, all the drivers make up the race. Forgive me. Yeah, so exciting. So, wow, what a race to launch our championship for 2022. What a race we've had. And I have to say, I thought it was a shoe-in for Thomas that was going to take the win, but it wasn't to be. But he does get a podium, which is why you could hear the eruption of cheers, because he's in Kemptal. But this is our man who is the winner. Did a great job, David Seed. Just very cool, calm and collected, and as you can see him slowing down now on the Red Bull Ring circuit. We'll try and grab a word with David Seed in due course, but a great job done indeed. Well done to all of our drivers. There were a number of penalties that were awarded for unsportsmanlike behavior and causing collisions and various things, and great to be able to bring you the live audio from race control as well. So there we have it. David Seed, the winner then. I hope we're going to get the opportunity to speak to Thomas Herzog as well, because a really, really creditable performance from Thomas Herzog, but even more creditable from David Seed, of course, from taking the win. Virtual podium to come, and as I say, we're going to try and grab words with. There is Thomas Herzog. You can see the beads of sweat upon the brow as Thomas Herzog then does get a podium out of that and takes a P3. First part of the race was leading it, of course, and by my calculations, it was a full 50% of the race that he led. and just losing out in the end to P1 and P2 places, which is a great shame. But well done, Thomas. Very creditable performance indeed. And well done to David Seed as well. So all our lounges represented, of course, across the course of the race. And there can only be one P1, one P2, and one P3. And naturally, and that's the way it does. And you can see the congratulations being afforded all round here. And the race is done. The anxious look there across the face, but all is good. Well, it has been a fantastic start to our championship for 2022, with great racing here at the Red Bull Ring. Drama aplenty, as you would expect, as every driver pushed as hard as they possibly could, and some being penalised for pushing just a little bit too hard. But hey, that's racing, and that's what we love about it. Rubbing is racing, apparently. And we did see plenty of that during the course of the 26-27 laps that we got here at the Red Bull Ring. So well done to all our Challenger League drivers. Bear in mind we have the Racer League to come tomorrow, so we certainly ain't done with this yet. A whole weekend of fantastic race action to come from Racing Unleashed, where we do the Challenger League on the Saturday, and the Racer League comes on the Sunday. So we go beyond the pinnacle in 2022. Racing Unleashed back bigger and better than ever before after a fantastic 2021. We're aiming for a simply superb 2022, and if the race action that's been delivered today is anything to go by, we're in for a scintillating season. That's for sure. So our top three are standing by for their podium. Now, I can tell you from looking over to the left of my studio here that Race Control are looking at all the incidents that happened during the course of the race. You will recall that we heard from Race Control, and there was plenty of penalties awarded in race. Well, it's maybe not all over yet, because further penalties could be awarded. I don't think anything will happen that will affect our P1, P2 or P3 places. Can't think that the drivers were involved in anything that would cause Race Control to want to penalise any of those. So I think that will stand. But again, I am merely the voice. Race Control, of course, have an overview on everything, have more camera angles available to them than even we do as our broadcast production, which are lots and lots of cameras, of course, and great footage and great coverage. But they have all of even more cameras and lots and lots and lots of data to look at as well. So we will see. Thomas Herzog, 50% of the race you led. Clearly, I don't have favourites, but because you were here in Kemptal, literally a stone's throw from me, I really thought you were going to nail the win, Thomas.
Yeah, the first two guys was too fast for me, so it was really unexpected. After my good start, I led the half of the race, so it was completely unexpected experience today. So I take the points. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Thomas, can we please go back to the start of the race?
Yes.
Because that was where you made you move into P1, and it was brilliant. I mean, had you rehearsed that in your head? Had you determined what you were going to do going into turn 1 and turn 2?
No, it was complete unexpected. So when I changed the gear from 0 to 1, so I had no wheel spin, and then switched up to P1. In every single moment, I expect they come a dive bomb at the inside of my car. So that was not gonna be, and then I headed up straight away.
Thomas, you are, of course, part of our Fit and Fast program with Ralph Muller, and I sat down and spoke to you in our prologue about Fit and Fast.
Yes.
Tell me the truth, Thomas. Did that help you today, being part of that program?
For sure. With Ralph, I had a big motivator. So he gave me the goosebump for get motivates me after my work in the evening and in the lunchtime. So get my 10 minutes from day to day, and completely I agree with the motivation and Ralph Muller.
Thomas, thank you so much for talking to us. Congratulations on
Thank you.
your P3. Bank those points, and we look forward to seeing you on our
Yes.
virtual podium. Thomas Herzog, then P3. He is in our Kemptal Lounge and a great ambassador for our Fit and Fast program, as well as being a great racing driver too. So well done, Thomas Herzog. He takes P3. We'll be to catch up with our race winner, David Seed, in due course as well. But of course, we will be bringing you our virtual podium in due course. Ciro Zambra, though, he took P2, and a brilliant drive from you, Ciro. Presumably, you would have loved P1, but you must be satisfied with P2.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy. I can't lie. I'm really happy with the race. Yeah.
So, Ciro, you're one of our younger drivers, and you are one of the drivers that kept himself out of trouble, because a lot of drivers behind you have picked up penalties and all sorts of things. Red Bull Ring is a really tough circuit, isn't it? You don't have even a second to relax, do you, Ciro?
Yeah, full concentration all the time. It's really hard. Yeah.
And like Thomas Herzog, who was P3, you're part of Fit and Fast as well. That really helps, Ciro?
Yeah, it really helps, I guess. Yeah.
Now, I'll pose a little question to you, Ciro. You're going to be P2 on the podium, and well done. Congratulations for that. That must give you the motivation to go one better for our next race. It's got to be P1, Ciro.
Well, we will see. I will practice, and yeah, we will see what I can do in the next race.
Ciro, thank you so much for talking
Thank
to
you.
us, and congratulations to your P2 place. He's in our Zurich lounge, and he also part of the Fit and Fast program. And of course, you will recall when we crossed to him right at the end of the race, he was congratulated by so many people at the end of that race. Ciro Zambra doing a really, really good job. Now, high time that we spoke to our winner then, David Seed. I'm going to nickname you David Seed, because in between David and Seed, it should be clinical, because you were so clinical in your race today. Congratulations, David.
Thank you. Yes, it was a difficult race for me, because I started in P6, I was P4 in the knockout qualifying, and after that my game crashed, so I was in P6 in the start of the race. I was in P3, and after that a lapped car crashed me, and then I had to overtake a lot of people, but I won, so I'm good.
Of course, and congratulated by many, many people. And the thing is, does it feel more rewarding, David, to win the race when you've had to work so hard to win it?
Oof, it's more like satisfactory, yes, because winning from the pole, it's good, but it's better winning from P22. It's better.
Well, many congratulations to you, David Seed. You've put the first win of what could be many this season in the bank. David Seed in our lounge in Madrid. Congratulations, you are race winner.
Thank you.
So David Seed, then P1, he's in our race lounge in Madrid, and of course will be on the top step of our podium to come. The race control still looking at plenty of replays and slow-mos, and really looking at all the data as well. I think sometimes I have quite a hard job, but in comparison to what they have to do, it's as naught. But congratulations to our top three who we'll be seeing on our virtual podium. But congratulations to all the drivers. And here is that podium. P1. What a star you are, David. Clinical Seed. P2 goes the way of Ciro Zambra. He's going to have his hair done for the next race. And Thomas Herzog, a great drive to take P3. Brilliant stuff indeed. They are our drivers on our virtual podium. Forgive me, the excitement again playing havoc with my throat. But they're our virtual podium, and well done to the top three. Now, bearing in mind the money that they take and the points that they've gained as well, very, very important, because it's a very long season lots of racing to come, and of course to go into the start of the season with a podium place. And there is Thomas Herzog, literally just in front of me, enjoying his P3 and his virtual podium, and is all smiles. And there you can see some celebrations going on. So well done to Thomas Herzog then for his P3, and it was great to be able to speak to him, and he was very happy with the P3 that he was able to take. Led over half the race. I remind you that this today is our Challenger League. We have our Racer League here at the Red Bull Ring tomorrow, and then of course we move into our next race weekend where we will be racing at the Nürburgring. Then it's the Autodromo, the Monza. From Monza we go to Mugello, and there is race control continuing to look at lots and lots of things that went on during the course of that race. However, in the interest of keeping you, our so important viewers, up to date, let's give you a provisional result. Please bear in mind it is only provisional. It could change yet. So taking P1, David Seed. Taking P2, Zero Zambra. P3 was Thomas Herzog. Nico Farland started from pole position, ended up P4. That was Yannick Schmidt, P5. Andrin Kiefer, then P6. Simone Demivast, P7. Jason Ferrati, P8, having taken a drive-through penalty as well in the points. NG then P9 in Madrid. Joshua Hader then banks points in P10. He's our final point scorer, if you will. Pius Meyer then P11 with Michael Fry P12. Then it was Jason Bleissig, Michael Rolin, Fabian Meyer P14 and P15 respectively. Then it's Martin Oberholzer, Marcus Valverde then, they are P16 and P17 with Astrid Vollenweider P18, Matthias Overkirk P19. Theo Weider finishes and classifies P20 despite being lapped. And that was also the case of Frank Seifert. He took P21 and classifying P22, but unfortunately a DNF for Tiziano Capriano. So, as I said, please bear in mind that that result chart at this stage provisional. It could change. It could change as race control continue to look at every angle they possibly can and investigate every incident that went on during the course of that race. So a reminder then that our next racing event is tomorrow, of course, with our Racer League drivers. Then from here we go to the Nürburgring. Then it's Monza, Mugello, Brands Hatch, then Silverstone, Spa-Francorchamps, the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. Then we go back to the Zurich Airport Circuit, which if you watched our Prologue program, you'll know what a really, really good circuit that the Zurich Airport Circuit is. I just love the straight around the circle, which quite clearly is not a straight, but is so-called a straight. Then we go to Imola, and then, of course, we have our Battle for Glory. Venue to be advised. Even I don't know where the Battle for Glory is going to be. I'm told it's something very special, but I don't know anything about it. Don't tell me anything, will they? Because I would tell you. That's my job. Let's take a look at the highlights of this fantastic race here at the Red Bull Ring in the Challenger League. So this then, we can see from being on board with Jason Bleissig at the start, and that was the start of a number of incidents right at the start of the race. Tiziano Caponio was not so lucky in being able to get the car pointing in the right direction once again. She was really stuck and nerfed into the gravel. Martin Oberholzer was involved as well and pushed a car, and those incidents that you saw right at the start of the race, actually race control are so good that any penalties that were to be awarded following those infractions, if you will, were dealt with during the course of the race. And as you know, there were time penalties put on, and also drive-through penalties for unsportsmanlike behaviour. And lap 22, Seifert now you'll recall when we saw the chart just a few moments ago, he was a lapped driver. So just take a look at this, and this is why he finished in that position, because all on his own, he found that the Red Bull Ring circuit is a challenge. You've only just got it. You're on such a knife edge. In fact, he did a good job in trying to hold on to that car, but he wasn't able to. Ended up going around and then having to rejoin, which is why he ended up lapped. So really difficult, and I don't dispute for one moment just how hard it is for all of our drivers here at whatever circuit and in these fantastic simulators. Now, this P5, P6 battle that happened during the race was one to highlight and replay again because it was so enjoyable. Here it is for you. So take a look at this then. Ondrin Kiefer. And there you can see at this moment they're all absolutely fine. And then just an innocuous touch. Wheel on wheel, it's enough to send both cars into strife. And again, all of those things are looked at, and Ondrin Kiefer is one of those drivers that being taken a look at by our race control team and our race director in particular. They all work very, very hard. So there we have just a few of the highlight moments of some of the things that went on during the course of that very entertaining, I think it was 26 or 27 laps that we did here at the Red Bull Ring in the end. But every one of the laps, I mean, I didn't know where. I mean, thank goodness I'm not a TV director, because you have to, just go in so many different places to pick the best, and nearly all of it was best. There were things going on throughout the course of the race. If you hear the applause behind me, it's because from virtual podium to a real podium, there he is, Thomas Schmidt. Gets his medal and a handshake of congratulations, and that's why we're hearing the applause. Well done to Thomas. Yeah, don't bite it. And he is on that P3 step here in Kemptal. So well done. Really good. And really good to talk to him as well. He's a very, very honest driver and tells it the way it is. But 50% of the race he led. He ended up getting a podium out of it with P3. So well done, sir. And aims and targets more to come, of course, part of our Fast and Fit program with Ralph Muller. So well done to Thomas there. His real podium here in Kemptal. Of course, those podiums take place at any one of our lounges, whether it's here in Kemptal or Madrid or Zurich or Calm or Munich. If a driver podiums, he gets not only the virtual podium on screen, but he gets a real podium and a fine medal as well. I can see from the corner of my eye Christine Uphoff talking to Thomas at the moment. So here we can go with another podium. And there you can see the P2 podium. Yes, come down into shot. Well done. That's it. Make the podium as you go along. Well done. Good to see that real podium, and doubtless we'll see the P1 podium as well in due course. So the real physical podiums take place as well as the virtual ones. We really celebrate our victors here in Racing Unleashed and make them feel as special as they should do for being so successful. And this, of course, is the first race of the championship season, and a big, big season it is as well. New cars, new liveries, and of course new modus operandi from Racing Unleashed, if you will, as we go beyond the pinnacle. Bigger and better than ever before. With that huge prize fund up for grabs for our competitors of some 200,000 Swiss francs over the course of the season. The cumulative prize fund is really, really important, as are the points, of course, because you want to end up at the end of the season as champion, if at all possible. 2 non-championship events as well. The first one of those we've had, which was at the Zurich Airport Circuit, which was the Prologue, and then we have the Beyond the Glory event, which will be taking place in December. I can tell you, race control are still working hard and still looking at things. Still the potential that the actual provisional result that we saw won't become the confirmed result, and there might be some changes. Tomorrow is the turn of our Racer League drivers to take to the simulators, and if they provide even half the action that our Challenger League drivers did today, it will be a great race tomorrow. That's a same circuit, of course, at the Red Bull Ring, and we're very much looking forward to our Racer League drivers tomorrow. And of course we will have another edition of our Talking Unleashed program tomorrow as well. And now I can tell you that we have a final confirmed result, which we will bring to you, and literally this has just come in. Here it is, confirmation then. So no doubting the 1, 2, 3, David Seed, Ciro Zambra and Thomas Herzog. The top three, P1, 2 and 3. There's Nico Farland, P4, Yannick Schmitz, P5. Simone Demivast takes P6, Jason Ferrati, P7. NG is P8, Joshua Hyder, Banks P9, and Pius Meyer takes a P10, final points scoring place. Ondrin Kiefer then, P11, Mikael Fry, P12. You can see Ondrin Kiefer with a P alongside the time there. Jason Blasik, P13. Mikael Rolin, P14. Martin Oberholzer, P15. Fabian Meyer, P16. Marcus Valverde, P17. Astrid Wallenweider, P18. Matthias Overkirk, P19. And Theo Vida takes P20. Frank Seifert then, who was lapped, and Tiziano Caponio then with the P for penalty alongside her time taking P22. Those are the confirmed results. Thanks to Race Control for deliberating and bringing us the full and frank result just minutes after the race. So well done. I mentioned that in tomorrow's program we will have another Talking Unleashed, where we will be talking to Angelo Michel. He was the winner of the Prologue event at the Zurich Airport circuit. We'll be talking to Leandro Huber about Racing Unleashed and the organics of Racing Unleashed and how it works. And we'll also have the CEO of Racing Unleashed, Monisha Coltonborn, here to talk to us once again. From an operational point of view, it'll be very interesting to talk to Richard Biekler, who's the Race Lounge manager at Munich, as well as continuing our look at our Fit and Fast program with Christina Uphoff, who will once again be sparing us some time, and we'll be having a conversation with Christine about the Fit and Fast program, of course headlined by Ralph Muller. And not only that, we'll have Fabian Vettel in the house as well. We'll be talking to Fabian Vettel. There you can see I mentioned the 200,000 Swiss franc prize fund. That is how it is distributed over the course of our season. So the Challenger League and the Racer League, and who can earn what for each particular place, and if you were to bank that place across the entire season, the total that you would take. Fantastic prize fund awarded by Racing Unleashed and up for grabs, which, as I say, is in excess of 200,000 Swiss francs. So there is number one happy chap. And big thumbs up. The medal is on. And a big smile as well. So congratulations, taking the first win in our championship for 2022 in the Challenger League. Of course, the Racer League to come tomorrow. So another whole set of drivers that are going to be taking part. And a number of those drivers in the Racer League elevated from the Challenger League in 2021. There's a real progression to be had. And here is our calendar for 2022. Then Red Bull Ring, which is where we are this weekend. Then we head off to the Nürburgring. Autodromo di Monza is race 3, 23rd, 24th of April. Mugello in Tuscany in Italy, 21st to the 22nd of May. Race 4, of course, every race weekend, featuring races for Challenger League and Racer League. Brands Hatch in the UK in Kent, 11th and 12th of June. Then we move just up the road relatively, well, around the M25 and up the M1 to Silverstone on the 30th and 31st of July. Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, 27th and 28th of August. Circuit de Catalunya is in Barcelona, and we will be there for 24th and 25th of September, which will be race 8. Race 9, we go back to our Zurich Airport circuit once again. That will be 22nd and 23rd of October. And then race 10 will come from Imola on the 12th and 13th of November, where we will round out our race calendar for 2022. But then it's the Battle for Glory event. Don't know where that's being held. They won't tell me. 11th of December 2022. And as you can see, there's a separate prize fund for Battle for Glory, because the championship will have been sealed in Imola, but there will be one non-championship event, a bit like our prologue that we had a couple of weeks ago, but that will be called the Battle for Glory. Very much looking forward to that, and also looking forward to finding out where that's going to be held. Next challenge, of course, 26th to the 27th of March 2022 at the Nürburgring, within sight of the Nürburg Castle, the evocative circuit of the Nürburgring that will play host to the next Challenger League race. Well, we've had a brilliant race here with our Challenger League at the Red Bull Ring. However, it's not over yet, because we want you to join us tomorrow once again, because it's the Racer League drivers that will be taking into those simulators at those lounges, whether they're in Kemptal here, or Madrid, or Zurich, or Calm, or Munich. They will be taking part in the Racer League races tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Welcome to Racing Unleashed.
Red lights are off, away we go.
Da müssen die Positionen hergeben.
¡Wow! ¡Qué adelantamiento!
Speed auf der Bremse.
Here they go, flat out, really good stuff.
Tremenda pelea.
The two cars make contact.
Unglaublich.
¡Wow! ¡Qué pelea!
Was war das für ein Rennen?
This is Racing Unleashed.